Hello. How's it going? Well, welcome to the Hump Day Chinwag podcast. I'm your host with the most smoother DJ. Sadly, Tomby is not here with us today because he allegedly is touching Grace or something like that. I don't know. He was talking about certain Grace, so I don't fucking know what's happening. But yeah, either way, we're here today for episode number 11, giving them the Kotaku in a way. So here we are. So I'm obviously not alone because Hump Day Chinwag is a show of collective effort. Stasis Queef is apparently also away because he's hanging out with friends. I didn't even know the man had friends to begin with, but here we are. But yeah, there we go. Let me actually add the first panelist. He's the proper brummie that we need in our chat every once in a while. It's Mr. Jack Tarlett. Hello, sir.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah, I've been
usual,
watching,
but you know,
I've been watching that whole Baldwin trial today because it's started today, the Alec Baldwin trial.
Yeah.
So yeah, prepping for doing some commentary on that. Because I got some. I'm not going to announce it yet, but I'm working on something with someone in the background. So and it'll be up to her to come out and give you the out on that. But I'm not going to keep you for too long chatting about all that crap. Let's bring some more people in.
Right. Speaking of bringing crap in, here's the other fellow German that's the host with the most. It's Mr. Hanayama.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
The Master Weeb himself. Hello. Good to see you, man.
Indeed. That sadly watched the Echo Shite. Oh, God. I hate that show.
Why do you hate yourself so much?
I mean, to be fair, just like last week, I did not watch it in its entirety. I watched it in clip form because more than 5 minutes at a time rots my brain.
That is true.
I'm watching it and complaining about it on Twitter because I'm trying to make Kenzo unfollow from me. I can.
Pockety bye.
All right, okay. Let's get our next residential panelist on the show. Is Mr. Newlywed Jay Tapia, aka Notex. Hi.
How's it going, everybody? Glad to be back on the show.
Congrats, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise.
How you feel, man?
A lot better. The illness is all gone at this point. I've cleared all that. A little bit of a cough left, but so you might hear me kind of duck out on a mute pretty abruptly. Might even be mid-sentence, but I will be back as soon as I get out of the coughing fits. So no, outside of that, feeling good. Freshly married, feeling a little healthier. So having a good week.
Yeah, I heard that you've been diagnosed with a wife now.
Yeah. They say it's terminal.
Terminal. Ooh. Death to his part and all that shit, right? That's how it goes. Yeah.
50%
death to his part. That's how it goes. So
oh man.
Only one way out now.
Only one way out. That's true.
50% survival rate.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that make you survive longer, let's add a lovely Yanwich to the panel. Because she's an expert on survivalism, apparently.
Let's bring on the wife. The causes.
The wife, yeah. we got to balance it out. We got to balance it out every once in a while, okay? So yeah, good to see you, Yarnie. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we do. And speaking of old people,
forget that Yarnie's one of the girls.
Yeah, sometimes
Jack's like one of the guys.
That's
one of the boys. She's one of the boys now, so it's okay.
The way I like it.
Speaking of old people, we also have someone lurking in the background. It's Mr. Kadaf, our residential old fart.
Well, thank you.
Hello, mate.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta roast everybody today. It's my show today, so I got. That's fine, right?
Nice
and we got our. Since we're a few people short, especially Abe, he's still recovering from some organ problems. So hope you're resting up, buddy. And if you're listening, go get that checked relatively soon, whatever you do, and rest up, buddy. And Tommy's
get good scrub.
Get good scrub, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, Abe's not with us, obviously, and also Mr. Tomby and Mr. Stasis because he has friends apparently. So we got good replacements today. So we got number one, Mr. Major Zap is with us today. Hello, how's it going, sir?
Hey, you're going to see multiple of
Hey, how you
yourself,
doing,
guys.
sir?
Just the way I've got it set up today. But
that's cool.
Thanks for having me on the podcast again. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad you can make it. It's episode 2 for him, but 11 for us.
Episode 2 for me for my podcast, and then you guys are on 11. So you're ahead of me, so I got a lot of catching up to do.
You'll get there. You get there. Trust me. It will go by so fast. You're like,
Oh,
how
yeah.
the heck did we get there so fast? And last but not least, we got another lovely regular. It's Mr. Daramove. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Finally, I'm able to make it because I was asked a long time ago and I couldn't make it because you guys are 5 hours ahead of me. So it's not that easy.
Time zones are crazy, right? So
Yes,
it is.
Tell me
So
about
let's just quickly catch up with the chat real quick. So let's see who's here. We've got Leslye, but the football. Okay. Mr. Bendover, hello. Stilek of History, hey, Mr. Robert, hello. And Mr. Tomby, evening all. Just remember, Smooth's the host for today and next week, but I'm there in spirit. How's Touching Grace going, by the way?
Yeah. Using both hands.
There's some
Touching
guy named
cloth, probably.
Dara Move in the chat. I don't know that guy, but apparently he's here too. We got Galadon.
Yes.
I'm
bringing you on.
Something. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Galadon is here. Hello. Speaking of the devil that is still in hospital, Mr. Abe is here. Hello.
Hey, Abe. Get well soon, buddy.
Get well soon, buddy.
Get well
You
soon.
recover.
Tracy's here as well. Hello, Dara Move and Abe. Hey.
Yo.
Yay.
I used to think Tracy was hot until I found out he was a dude.
And it changed that fast? Oh, okay.
Well, that's a quick transition, I tell you.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see.
It was at that moment that you knew.
Badges given to members. Badges change months.
Yeah, I did.
The YouTube membership thing.
I was like, I didn't know what that was next to my name, and I'm looking. I was like, what does that mean? Because I'm not a member on it.
It's the CIA telling you that you're fucked, essentially.
Basically.
You're on the list.
Big Brother is watching you.
Big Brother's watching. Exactly.
Welcome to the list, by the way.
Welcome to the list. Welcome to the list. Stop making me paranoid, goddammit. Then we got Young Witch, of course. She's on the panel. PineandCauldron.com. Guys, Pine and Cauldron. Get your bloody yarn already. If you have
Do it.
do it.
There's some
And we got
stuff coming up.
No!
well.
Sorry, what was you saying there, Yarnie?
Oh, there's some Beetlejuice inspired yarn coming out soon.
Ooh,
Literally
Nice.
right now. So.
tell us all about it.
Is it going to be available at Saks Fifth Avenue so Winona Ryder can snatch it up? No?
I'm not saying anything.
I won't answer that just yet. Well, I'll say no.
Yeah, that's an old thing, but I had to.
I know what it is. It's a shrunken head willy warmer.
There you go.
This guy gets it. Exactly.
I'm adding
So
that
let's continue on. We got Mrs. Abe, Daily Dysfunction. Hello. Hey, love. How you doing?
Mrs. Abe.
Mrs. Abe.
Nice, Corruptor. You got something running. Nice.
Some guy named Nerd Takes. Okay. Okay. I forgot my reading glasses today, chat. Just bear with me, okay? We got Greenette Anti-Liberal. Hey, how's it going, gal?
Hey, gal.
I'm glad you're here, Corruptor. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me.
Thank you. And we got Crimson Shadow. All right, you bobag. You twat. How's Scotland doing?
The crimson one.
Monsieur Jacques Talad.
I've heard of him. He's a good-looking bastard.
It's weird. His meme doesn't look anything like him. I think
know,
it's
right?
AI. I think it's AI. I think it's
Weird.
artificial. Fake news. Fake news.
Must be.
It's fake
I
news.
bought-
Fake news.
We got Lucifer. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Uh-oh, he's here. Tell me how Gal is doing, and that's the way Gal's asking, how's Grace? So we don't know.
Grace,
Apparently she fucking hates acolytes. That's all I know.
I think Grace is under pressure.
Oh, she is. Womp, womp, womp. All right, let's see. We got Grizzled Entertainment. Holy Sif, you watched the Scheitelite. Yes, some of us did.
Yes, we did.
We
Was it
watched
homework?
the Echo Shite.
Was that homework? Because I didn't do it.
How dare you?
Gal likes to call it the ejaculite.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good title too.
maybe the female ejaculite.
Touching.
It's the
Grizzles
Echo
is asking the most important question here: touching grass or smoking it? Well, you have to ask Tommy that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, Nick.
That's a question for Tommy, and only Tommy can answer that, but pretty much.
And we got a member message from Mr. Crimson Shadow. I think it's on Tommy's side. Another month of Smooth and Muppets. Ooh, thank you, sir.
2 months.
We got the Eclipse.
Wait, is this actually being broadcast to Tomby's channel as well?
Yeah, it is actually broadcast to
okay.
Tomby's, mine,
I didn't
and
realize
my
that.
Twitter account as well. So it's kind of simulcasting today. So if Stasis would be here, it would also be broadcasting on his channel at the same time.
But he's
We
dipping
are
out that
on
lazy bastard.
Jurassic Coast. Okay. Well, yeah, he's got friends apparently. Must be
Lies, I tell you, lies.
nice.
Okay.
Shame he's a.
Tomby, bring back Fossil.
Wow.
Bring back fossil fuels. Yes, exactly.
You've got
All
a
right.
challenge, right? Dan Vask found a whalebone. You can find an ichthyosaur tooth.
Gal says, I can't claim that Paul Chato came up with ejaculate.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Still
Right.
good.
So Trace is also saying, I was watching Star Wars Theory in a erotic stream last night. It was something to process and not all good. Well, we got some people who
None of
actually
it
watched
was
it.
good.
Oh,
None of it was
God.
good.
It's
And
something, all right.
It's a milestone on my channel. Oh, okay. Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate it, my dude. And Data Dysfunction asks, what are those? We are the panel, Daily. We're called humans with webcams and microphones, apparently.
That's
So,
a
yeah.
lie.
Well, welcome to
Yeah, I'm a bot.
You're a bot. Yeah, exactly. So welcome to the Hump Day Chinwag podcast. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is the podcast that we do in the middle of the week just to process the shite that was going on last week. And we're working up our way to Friday because Friday is the best day of the week, allegedly. I can't confirm because I usually work Fridays, but here you go. We got some good topics for today. I figured we might as well start with the ejaculate shite first because we want to get that out of the way, do we? And then get on with the juicy topics that we got prepared for you today.
Yes,
We
so-
can go in any order.
Yeah. So
Any order is fine.
I got an article to actually preface the whole conversation we're going to be having. It's about Leslye Headlamp, our favorite new lesbian lamp that we can buy from IKEA, allegedly.
Who still has a head like a swamp?
Well, to be fair, she looks like a swamp. She looks like a swamp troll, so it's fine.
What kind of lamp?
Well, IKEA lamp from the Swedish.
I mean, we have
French
IKEA,
house.
but I'm like, oh god.
Right. Okay. So we
Why?
got the first lovely item over here. The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headlamp, or lesbian Headlamp, I love to call her, teases Reylo-Style romance between Osha and Qimir. I was sent one of fanfic, and I was absolutely surprised about how prescient it was. Well,
Yeah, how about no?
apparently that tease it was just a bunch of bullshit, from what I heard. I think the
whole show is a bunch of bullshit, so
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
I've watched maybe a whole
To
10
it-
minutes of it and was
to-
like, nah, not much.
To be fair, the first time I saw this picture over here, I thought that was Jack's Asian cousin.
It is.
Just give him the glasses and the hat, and it's
Done. Yeah, you're
spot
done.
on.
Yeah.
Bang. Yeah, but at least
And
Jack,
here's
Jack didn't have to strip naked for his role, though, so it's okay.
I didn't have to, but I did anyway.
He didn't have
Well-
to. Yeah, he did anyway.
But Smooth, you know what's funny? Shave dude's mustache, and that's fucking Asian Dan Vask.
Oh,
Wow.
I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't unsee it.
Leslie Giraffe neck.
Sorry, Dan.
Fuck him.
Oh no.
Like literally,
it's
just
Elsa.
shave the fucking mustache, and it's Asian Dan Vask. Like, it's
It is.
good.
It is literally. I will show you humiliation.
Yes.
Okay, we got the freaking Smilo Ren head here. My God, that mask looks like a fucking anime reject from a live
It
action
does.
remake
It
or
really
something.
does, yeah.
It is bizarre.
No, I've seen
Looks like
anime.
a
100%
Venom cosplay gone wrong.
Can I ask
Yeah,
why
that-
is
that's
everybody in this fucking show holding the lightsaber like it's a gun? Why in the fuck do people do that?
Very
Why
simple,
hold the
very
lightsaber?
simple.
It's so dumb. They're clearly not comfortable.
Because blasters are so uncivilized.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously,
Got to
but
use a lightsaber every time.
Yeah, gotta use a lightsaber. But the funny thing
Always
is,
works.
in theory, if you turn it on, she's dead. The only issue is it's a Star Wars main character, so lightsabers are ineffective against them.
Oh yeah, the arbitrary lightsabers
Go
are
ahead.
lethal and non-lethal rule. Oh boy. Oh look,
Yup.
So this
Mr.
whole
Adam Driver.
tease of them being romance interests and everything, that's turned out to be just a rumor. That turned out to be false.
Yeah.
it seems to be a whole bunch of baloney for the most part.
Yeah,
I haven't
we still have one episode left.
Yeah,
so.
and that's what I was going to say, Hanayama.
Yeah,
Is,
don't hold your breath.
to be honest, the way in which they just force attempted
Behaviors,
tries at stories in this show, and the way they just rush it to the point where it makes no sense and feels completely rushed, completely misplaced. I wouldn't be surprised if within this last episode they do try to spark that whole romance and make it a thing. Because every bit of storytelling so far has been rushed, has been butchered, has been chopped up to points where none of it makes any sense. So it really wouldn't surprise me if even in the last 5 minutes they just start making out of nowhere and there's no real explanation for it. It's just that's what they wanted to do, so that's what they
random.
Even in this episode, right?
Me.
This brand new episode that we just watched, right? What was it? Sol said, "I feel a connection to Osha." Yeah, like after like fucking 5 minutes of looking at her. It's like
what connection? Oh god, and that's the way that they've gone about telling this entire story. So it's like, it really wouldn't surprise me. They've seemingly set up some kind of attempt at chemistry. Not that the actors were able to pull it off, but in that episode with Osha and Sith guy, I can't even remember his name at this point because it's all so forgettable. Smilo Ren. Let's go with that because that's more memorable than anything so far. Even in that episode with the two of them, you can tell that they're trying to set up that he's going to kind of, convince her that what she knows is wrong, and there's some kind of, tension going on between the two of them in that regard. It's not acted well. There's no chemistry, but you could see that they wanted to force it there. So I could see them picking it back up because this was a flashback type of episode. I could see them trying to pick that back up very quickly in episode 8 and forcing that, kind of just full steam ahead, saying, "Oh, yeah, now they like each other, now they're in love," type, or having a fling type of thing.
That's not how love works, though. That's not how love works.
It is in the Star Wars world, though, apparently in the Disney Star Wars world. You see the Sith dude's penis for 5 seconds, and now you were in love with him.
Yeah,
and then she was totally staring at it. Despite being a lesbian, she totally stared at it.
But that's just Hollywood, right?
Hollywood,
and honestly,
I would not be really bad writing going on, and so they want to have these relationships. So they just or they want anything, relationships, a particular scene, a particular action, anything like that. And like a middle schooler writing a fanfic, they just force a scene to happen. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. Doesn't matter if the chemistry or the flow is there. They just force it.
I'm getting some serious Fiddler vibes from Sol because it's like he's like, "I feel a connection to Osha," and then like 5 minutes later he's like, "No, she definitely should be my Padawan. I feel that she should be my Padawan. You're going to let her?" Then they're like, "No, that the council have said no." Sol, he's like, "No, let me talk to them. I'll convince them."
It's weird. It's very weird. Even in just terms of like storytelling, it just seems very weird and rushed. Like why does he of all these Jedi? Why is he the one that feels this connection and is pushing so aggressively for it? Like, it's just such bizarre storytelling.
It is. All I say is this. Sol needs a good lawyer, and you better call Sol.
No. Here's the thing. He's just gonna walk into the Jedi temple. They sit there and be like, "Yeah, but we said no." He's just gonna serve them Korean barbecue, and they're like, "Okay, you can have."
So if they do this whole intertwine, I think how they would do it to pull it off for the story to make sense would be like all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, there's a child." They're gonna pull that kind of maneuver, and that would be the only way for this to tie in. Is like magically, here's a kid.
And the problem with that, Zap, too, is just that like they don't have the ability to pull anything off. Like that's kind of the bigger problem. What speaks to the problems of the whole show is that they just don't have the ability to write a show. Whoever is writing this between Leslye Headland and her writing room, even if there is a way to pull it off, they couldn't find it with a telescope and a magnifying glass. They have no idea what they're doing at this point.
Because they don't understand
obvious
Lucas's original vision,
nor
the vision of what Star Wars originally was, going forward from backstories, forward stories, however you want to reimagine it. They don't have the mental capacity to grasp his creativity.
Yep.
It escapes them, and they will never have it.
And even if they did have that ability,
George Lucas, they want to desperately copy him, but they fail every single time.
Even if they did have that ability, the way they're writing this, you can tell that they wouldn't want to try to capture that anyways. The whole idea of this show being that blurring the line of good and evil, that the Force isn't about good and evil, and and trying to make the Jedi seem like they have such a fundamental misunderstanding of what Star Wars is in the first place, being good and bad, the choices between them, how to redeem yourself from those choices with whichever way you go. It's just something that completely misses not only this writing group, but the writing group of almost, I mean, it's bigger in this one because they try to make such a focus on blurring that line of good and evil. But every show that's come before it and all the movies that come before it, they haven't been able to capture that essence of Star Wars either.
Right.
And that's a Lucasfilm Disney
very true.
thing.
It's very true.
Well, one of the things I picked up on is the fact that they're all supposed to be Jedi, and I thought that Jedi was supposed to be removed from their emotions, and every single one of them is being emotional. And I mean, I guess I could allow it with like a Wookiee because they're very aggressive creatures anyway. But the simple fact that what's her name? Carrie Moss. Moss Windu. That's what we'll call her, Moss Windu. She's like nearly in tears, and like and Sol's finding connections, and fucking Torben Baratheon's like wanting to go home, and you know what I mean? It's like these are fucking Jedi,
right?
It is
like,
kind of
you're
wild.
on a mission. You're crying that you just want to go home, like. Tell that to anybody in armed forces, thing like that. They're on missions. Like you don't get the chance to just cry that you want to go home and do whatever. You have a mission to carry out. This is what you signed up for. This is your responsibility. You don't just sit there crying that you want to go home and the witches get to manipulate his mind so heavily just because he wants to go home. That's his big motivational factor. You are a Jedi, man. Act like it, or a Padawan, whatever, but act like it. But it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight something that Lady Gravemaster wrote on Twitter earlier about Acolyte, and I thought it's very poignant. Let me see. Where is it? There you go. I have graded 7th grade creative writing assignments with more plot, coherence, and creativity than this absolute dumpster fire of a Disney Star Wars show. That's spot on.
Yeah. I'll agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, specifically about the Jedi, like the Jedi are supposed to be like fucking space monks that live in perfect tranquility. These are fucking space Twitter people.
Yeah, they're also overly emotional and overly reactive. It's crazy.
I loved how Kanaka was like walking around searching for a Vergence with the fucking metal detector.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Where's that Vergence gone? I knew I left it around here somewhere.
And Yarnie used the perfect term earlier, fan fiction, because that's what all this feels like. That's what the show feels like.
Yeah, it really does.
And
bad
weirdly
fan
enough,
fiction on top of that.
Exactly. Horrible fan fiction. But even the headline of that article where it's talking about the implied Reylo attempt for these new characters, it's that to me speaks to when the Star Wars fan base really divided and got to this like bizarre state of the Reylo fans and all that, where when did Star Wars become we just want to see relationships, we want to see the shipping and all that? Like, I don't understand why that is so integral to the way these people want to tell these Star Wars stories. Who, for lack of a better term, gives a shit about these relationships? I want to know about the Jedi, the Order, the battle of good and evil. I don't care. Like, yeah, Han and Leia was a fun little romance story in the original trilogy, as was, and it played its role, and it was good, but it wasn't something that overtook the fan base of, at least, I mean, I wasn't alive at the time, but I'm sure people weren't going between movies of, oh my God, I can't wait to see Han and Leia hook up in the next one. It was about the movie, the story. And same thing for the
and it was integral in
that was what was.
I was going to say it was integral in the prequel trilogies because we needed to know the story of Anakin Skywalker and how he met the mother of Luke and Leia. So it was
pushes
integral,
him over the edge, that whole thing.
We don't need anything else.
No, the Reylo love didn't make sense. It was between Kylo Ren and Rey. It didn't make sense. It was forced. It had no impact. There was nothing that you walked away from that thinking, oh my God, that was actually a really nice little love story that they put in this sci-fi, blockbuster type film. It was just something they did for the Twitter people who are just obsessed with that kind of storytelling. And they're trying to mimic it again here. And it's like, who cares about that? Why is this fan fiction type stuff the core of what these shows are trying to be or trying to do?
So I gotta put in my sense as token female. So I have
woman?
I know, right? Love it.
How did she get in here?
Bitch, off with her head. So at least for me,
in Minecraft, YouTube, in Minecraft.
Oh, let it talk. Come on.
In Minecraft. No, you're okay. Han and Leia actually. Well, I guess pulling it back a little bit, I think to answer the question of who the fuck cares about these different relationships, I think people with middle school girl mentality again writing fanfic, because fanfic, what is fanfic? You don't have previous writing experience, you don't know the rules of good storytelling, yada yada yada, and
you don't have editorial oversight.
Yes, exactly. And chicks, usually we're interested in relationships. That's just kind of part of what we're driven is like what
I mean, okay,
because so there's the drive of seeing relationships. And then when it came to Han and Leia, like I know that for me personally, that actually meant a lot because I came from a broken home where, there was not good dynamic between my biological parents. And, putting all that aside, that was a really good thing for me to see. And I hung on to that as a little girl, like, hey, you can go through turmoil and relationships can survive and win and love conquers all, blah, 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 blah. With that said, the reason that worked for me is because it made sense. And the story wasn't all about Han and Leia. Like you said, you could take the whole romance thing and put it out of the story, and it's still going to be a rockin' story and still going to speak to people on a very deep level. So I think you really just have people trying to come in here and say, I want my rom-com level kind of storytelling and throw it and force it in on a primarily male fan base and force that shit. I think it's absolute crap. And so basically just
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes, I agree.
Go back and think about when they did Mandalorian. Jon Favreau didn't do any of that in the writing of that, in the book of The Mandalorian. None of that was in there. It was the story about the Mandalorian, about, this is the way. And it was a great, but then you get all this other stuff and it just falls off. It falls flat on its face and it's inept at best.
And losing focus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was more of a love story between Grogu and him, wasn't it? It was like a fatherhood thing, like a development of fatherhood.
Yeah.
A different kind of
love. Yeah, that was absolutely fine. It was touching. It was poignant. It meant something. It made you feel something. This makes you just want your soul want to puke.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. I think your point, Yarnie, is great insight, especially from a female's perspective versus the male's perspective. Because obviously, yes, females, I would say on the whole, typically do enjoy love stories a little bit more than males do. But it doesn't mean that we don't, males don't either, because we do appreciate a good love story because we can enjoy that. We understand the love of being a man who protects their family, things like that, the stuff that goes into it. For example, over the weekend, my wife and I watched the first 2 Deadpool movies because she had never seen them, and we're going to be going to see the third one. So, and she really loved the love story between, Wade and Vanessa, and she wasn't really expecting that to be in that type of movie. And I'm watching it as a newly married man at this point, kind of watching it from a whole different light this time, where I'm like, not to spoil too much, but if you haven't seen the second Deadpool movie, obviously you know what happens there with him and his wife in the beginning, opening stage. And I kind of was like, could feel it differently this time. I'm like, damn, like that, it would be crazy to like, if that were me in my shoes and that were my wife feeling that kind of loss, things like that. Like, so like love stories, when done well and done authentically in a way that you can relate to, they serve a massive purpose. And again, the prequels, another great example of it, feeling what you can understand why, Anakin becomes Vader after what he goes through with the loss of Padme, his potential children at that point, where I don't think he knew that they were going to be twins, but
and how
his child
by the dark side,
exactly. And how that's what pushes him over the edge, turns a good man cruel type of thing. Or Jay, like, the final push at least. And that stuff is fantastic. This is garbage.
Jay, you're forgetting the most important fact here. Anakin's been raised by the power of one, the power of two, and the power of many.
Very true.
You're forgetting the most important thing here, for crying out loud.
Right. Those bitches are giving us a bad name. Just saying.
Okay. God damn. I gotta highlight a terrible joke.
You knew the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Very well put.
If only you knew.
I gotta highlight a terrible joke for 1 second, real quick.
Yeah.
But shame on you. Shame
know
on
what you did.
No, I am
That was a good
nixing his
one.
shame. I am giving you praise. Good job.
That's good. It's a good
That was a
point
good
still.
one. That was a good one.
Okay, but I'm putting shame back on, so it's 2v1.
God, fuck you.
Okay.
I mean, but just
You know-
look at the way that Han and Leia flirted in like Empire Strikes Back. You know, like they're in that like enclosed space. You know, they're getting close and they're about to kiss, but it's that whole conversation between them and everything. It's not like overtly sort of like romancy, whatever, but they're sort of flirting with each other. And when they get separated. And he's about to be put in the carbonite, and she's like, "I love you." That's the female response, and what's the male response? I know, which was a completely ad-libbed line, but you know, that's the sort of, you know, the smart ass, you know, scoundrel that he is, and you know, it's not overtly romantic or anything like that, but it is romantic. Do you know what I mean? It's not like all girlified or anything like that, but it is romantic.
You know?
Yeah.
Han was a space cowboy, and he's like, "Oh, a damsel in distress. I'll come to her rescue because I'll be the hero, and maybe I'll get something out of it."
Looks like she's worth a penny or two as well.
It was kind of something. Yeah, he mentioned that too about.
I get some credits out of that
like
bitch.
Yeah.
And she'll kiss anybody. She'll kiss her brother.
I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts
royalty,
on I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the whole "I love you, I know" back and forth, because so when I was little, I totally misread that scene, and I thought, "Hey, asshole, you say I love you back. How rude!" Like little 5-year-old Yarnie getting pissy at Han about it.
That was just Han's way of saying it
"I
back,
love you
really.
too." Exactly.
Oh,
So
yeah,
my
it's like in
husband then
Ghost.
comes back.
It's like in Ghost, isn't it? Patrick Swayze, he can't say "I love you" back, so he always says "ditto."
I've never seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you never seen Ghost?
No, I've never
I've
seen Ghost.
Oh,
Motherfuck, bloody bastard
okay,
bitch.
I know what we're going to do for watch party next time. Yanni, you and I watch party next week.
Really?
Okay. Yep.
Do I have to?
Are you going to get out
You
the
don't
pottery?
have to.
He's
It's got
the pottery too.
That's his permission. I'm going to do it. Fuck it.
Maybe he's going to get the pottery out. Yeah.
John, Rich, you have to watch the original Roadhouse.
He's going to put on Everly Brothers and some
Roadhouse
pottery.
I
It's
will
going to get
watch.
serious.
Okay.
Roadhouse.
Real quick.
You'll always have Roadhouse.
Greenhead Anti-Liberal is a good theory of why the romance is the way it is. It's Disney's fault.
I agree.
They geared towards princess love stories specifically. Sci-fi fantasy stories use romance as a secondary side story. Exactly. That's the
well
point.
Dead on the money.
Well put. Well put.
Yeah, so
to
space battles, that's what you want. Big ships, bit massive cannons, lots of little ships
Big
flying
guns,
around
big
big ships.
Think about it too.
lasers, robots.
Disney is
and
also the
space
parent
battles.
company that's also having a lot to do with The Bachelorette and The Bachelor. They're like, oh, well, maybe we can get the nerds involved in our world too by throwing that kind of mix into it. It's like Star Wars, Bachelor, you know, it's
that cheesy type of romance stuff. It's just And
Yeah,
I think
sure.
to Yanni, your point of the asking of the opinion on that "I love you, I know" scene. I think part of it is definitely what Zap mentioned, which is that's Han's character. He's just that kind of guy. You know, he's never going to overtly come out and just say, "I love you so much." Like, you know, he's not a Romeo. He's a cowboy. So that's kind of his way of doing it. But what I like about that movie and that love story as it takes place in Empire Strikes Back is that you see in the beginning, it's actually Han who's more emotionally affected by this kind of will they, won't they thing. He's very annoyed that, you know, he's going to leave and Leia's not quite asking him and begging him to stay enough. So he's kind of the one acting a bit more emotionally, I guess you could say immature, but at least just in terms of like being more aggravated by the fact that like she won't come right out and say how she feels versus her playing kind of more coy, which is just like, well, you can leave, whatever, like, you know, type of thing. And then by the end of it, when she finally switches and breaks down to that emotional reaction of "I love you," you know, when the carbonite's out and all that, she finally breaks down and just lets it out more emotionally, which is that raw "I love you." He finally responds with "I know, because yes, I've known this whole time, and you've frustrated me by not admitting your feelings to me prior."
Exactly.
So it's a really brilliantly written kind of little love story within that
just
movie.
looking in Return of the Jedi, right? Sorry, look in Return of the Jedi where he's getting all jealous because she's been a bit distant because she's got other things on her mind, and he's acting like the jealous boyfriend. Is it Luke? It's Luke, isn't it? Fine. When he gets back, I'll go.
Exactly.
I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then she's like, but no, you don't understand. He's my brother, and like he realizes, and it's that weep.
Right, yeah. I have to say, with the way Harrison Ford makes the face when he's like, "Oh, he's your brother," like, "Oh, that look."
I have a chance, you know.
Yeah,
he's back on the menu, boys.
He makes when he says, "I know." After Jay, exactly what you were saying. That's what my husband had told me, and that made the scene make way more sense to me. I've known this whole time, and I've had a love. Like we're cool, we're good. Like just the face he makes with that line delivery really. So
yeah, it's like the big payoff of the whole love story that they're going for, and that's one thing I think these ones, between the Reylo one and whatever the hell they might try to pull off in this show, that's what they're missing is they're trying to give you a payoff that's not earned and not. One, there's no chemistry between Kylo Ren and Rey, and now these two. There's no chemistry between them at all. Nothing like there was between Han and Leia. And on top of that, there's been no story of this love story. It's just been, this is what Twitter wants, we're going to give it to, or a section of Twitter wants, we're going to give it to them.
It's out of nothing. It has no substance.
Exactly.
Like, where did it come from?
Right.
Huh?
That's why
I have a
men and women alike.
And
that's why I think men and women alike can't connect with this as much as say even a movie like Deadpool, which was not, that there's a much stronger and it's not perfect, but it's a better written love story in those ones that men and women alike can get their kind of different sides of it. People can connect with the Vanessa side, some can connect with the Wade side, some can connect with both because it's better written. There's more real life nature to it.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at the whole situation that Han is in, he's about to get put into cryo sleep for a while, right? In that whole scene. I think his snarky remark of "I know" is just perfectly in character because he has to be the strong stoic one, and knowing what's coming. You're right, and he knows what's coming because he knows he's essentially boned because nobody knows if he will get out of that anymore or not. Right. He could be frozen for thousands of years. You don't fucking know.
Right. And you can see his character shift. Han is always seen as this. I'm sorry, I clearly get carried away with Star Wars, so I'm so sorry.
No, this is great.
You can clearly see. So, there's this whole idea that Han is this, ladies' man, nomad. He's on his own pirate. Blah blah blah. That's what we see as Han in the beginning, and then we get this admission of love, but then also getting
you see a softer side of him, a more genuine side. Yeah,
and almost literally, my husband and I had literally 4 hours conversation of 4 hour conversation of if Han and Leia should stay together. My argument was yes.
Oh, I thought it was the conversation was about who shot first, Greedo or Han.
No. This is how nerdy we are. But yes. We had a thought of is when he gets frozen in carbonite and then he gets taken out of again. That's almost a figurative rebirth for him. Han is gone through this whole character development into who he is at the end. So
Ponto. Wow.
Anyway, sorry.
And then we get the creative genius that is The Force Awakens and undoes all of Han's character arc, all of his growth as a character.
Exactly.
And he's just a deadbeat dad. Is no longer with his wife. That was this great love story, and then he's gone. Like
that made me
Mary Poppins,
the pinnacle of Disney Star Wars right out of the gate with that one.
Yep.
And if we're going to talk about relationships in the original Star Wars, if we're going to talk about relationships in the original Star Wars, no one ever talks about the married couple dynamic between C-3PO and R2-D2.
No, never.
Bert and Ernie.
And
exactly.
That kind of was like a Bert and Ernie.
It was, yeah. They did.
They were buddies, companions, and they cared about each other in their own right. Yeah.
I mean, you can tell how long
they were an odd couple.
You can tell how long they have been married because fucking R2-D2 had to be bleeped the entire movie for swearing at him so much.
Right? Exactly. They couldn't
let C-3PO turn gay.
And the fact that he understood every single language too. He's like, oh, I'm multilingual. I can speak it all.
I mean, I'll be honest. If I look at that relationship between the Reylos, that's like an abusive relationship if you really think about it, because
because
goes one way.
he was seeking after. He's like, I can see you. I know where you are. I know what you're feeling. I was like, narcissist.
I've got Force X-ray. Come to the dark side. You've got Force X-ray.
Yeah,
really.
It's like he was a teenager that found X-ray glasses for the first time.
Literally. By the way, prediction for the Echo Shite episode 8. Fucking Space Ezra Miller, fucking Smilo Ren, and whatever the fucking other chick is. They're gonna leave together mid-episode and never be seen again.
I could see that.
Probably.
If I never see any of these characters again, it'll be too soon. So I'm fine with that.
I mean, if we want to get happy, right? No, hang on, right, guys. The entire series, they've been dropping these like story arcs, and there's only one episode to resolve them, or to carry them over into the next season. There isn't enough time in like 35 minutes, because the last episode was 40 minutes in length, and there's like, I don't know, 6 minutes of fucking titles because they have to play that stupid fucking song at the end of everyone, right?
Lord.
We've got 35 minutes, to resolve all of these story arcs that have been happening. Where did he get the scar on his back from? Is it that green-haired, girl with the fucking the lightsaber whip? What's that all about? Why are they going on about this place was lifeless 100 years ago? Why are they all worshipping this big fucking hole in the ground? And what has the Ascension got to do with any of the eclipsing moons and all that kind of stuff? How did all of this happen over 100 years, where apparently this place used to be a mine? Yeah, right. Yeah. But then that got abandoned at some point over the last 100 years. Yeah. Like, how are we going to wrap all this up? It's like watching Lost again.
Yeah, it won't be wrapped up.
I agree.
It'll be left
except now I'm the one that's
for those
lost.
who've seen Lost, they're all dead. A spoiler alert.
Oh, darn it.
No, and that's a great point, Jack. There is, I mean, they will try to tie it up. They're gonna attempt to tie it all up, but it's gonna be rushed. It's gonna make no sense. It's gonna be foolish. It's gonna be left on some horrible cliffhanger that they think is something great that leads into the next season, but it's gonna be a dud that nobody cares about, and that'll likely be the end of the Acolyte. I mean, they might push forward with the second season. Who knows? But after this, I would imagine they try to just kind of quietly push away from
the most important question. Here's the most important question. Will we get another Pokemon battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I hope so.
I choose you.
I mean, have you seen the attack that when Kenobi is shooting the rocks? It's literally a Pokemon attack.
Oh my god.
Just add some Pokemon battle music from Red and Blue to it, and that's the perfect Pokemon battle scene. But yeah, I don't want to ruin your childhood dreams, but yeah.
Obi-Wan, you're the one I want. Obi-Wan.
I mean, to be fair, if you want your childhood ruined, like there's a great fucking tidbit about Tarzan that I can share.
Oh god.
But you rather not hear this.
I could probably
I'll full screen you for that, so you take full responsibility for what you're saying.
I'm not taking responsibility for shit, mate.
Let's hear it.
I'm not taking responsibility for shit.
But
no, because I'm gonna just send it to Smooth, and then you tell me what you think, and don't share it. Just this will ruin things.
Oh my.
Yeah, just in terms of this show, I couldn't be happier that there's only one episode left, because I'm dreadfully tired of watching it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one video on it to just kind of sum it up, wrap it up, and call it a day, because I just can't be bothered with Disney Star Wars anymore. It's
my brain refuses to watch this shit nowadays. My brain's just like, why are you doing this to yourself? Go to bed or do something else.
I had honestly stopped for a while. I hadn't watched since Mandalorian season 2. I think Book of Boba Fett came out. I watched the first episode, it was all set, and then kind of watched Mahler and Gary and some of those guys break down that series. At that point, I was done. And I really passed on everything up until this is the first Star Wars thing I've watched since besides rewatches of the original 2 trilogies, but this is the first Star Wars product I've watched since Mandalorian season 2, because I was done, and I'm only doing it because I started YouTube. Otherwise, you couldn't pay me to watch this stuff. It's garbage.
Right.
I'll be honest. I suffered through Kenobi, and I also suffered through She-Hulk. Right. I thought Kenobi was dog shit already.
Yes.
And I watched that with someone I used to hang out with. She's not hanging out with me anymore. I should clarify that. We stopped being friends after watching that show.
Yeah. So bad it ruined relationships.
Basically, yeah. And I'll be honest, watching that show made me laugh because I always hark back to the comment that Ewan McGregor made when Moses Ingram was attacked. You know, true Star Wars fan in my mind, or whatever he said. A fucking cock. You could also say that about Lesbian Headlamp. She's no true Star Wars fan. Neither is her writing room. The writing room is full of people who don't even know diddly squat about Star Wars.
I'd argue that Kathleen Kennedy herself isn't a Star Wars fan. She's a fan of money and the power that's come with being ahead of Lucasfilm. I don't think she has
she's got the power of one and the power of many.
I don't think she has any love, care, or passion for the Star Wars universe, Star Wars storytelling, any of it.
Weasel. Leslye Headland's wife will be possessed by horn-headed space witch who didn't die, and the twins will run away with Smilo and Soul to live happily ever after in the interracial bliss. Yeah, that's pretty much what Jack says.
Speaking of horn-headed lady, I've been calling her Spike because I have no idea what her name is. Speaking of Spike, her acting in this episode, I mean, the acting as a whole is there's nobody good in this show. I think Saul is the only one who's decent and doing like the best he can with what he's given. But her acting in this episode was so awkward that it hurt to watch. The screaming of like arm yourself and all the screaming she was doing, just it didn't have any emotion to it. It was physically awkward to watch. And I haven't seen too many shows that actually make me on the outside feel awkward watching it. This
have you noticed as well though, Jay, right? We're talking about white horny woman, right? Have you noticed how it was the white woman who got angry and violent and not the black mama, right? Mm-hmm. But that's completely not true, because if you've ever been to a Waffle House on a Saturday night...
True.
Hi, Martin.
Well, and even in that scene, too, it's funny how like they continue to try to paint the Jedi as the bad guys in this. And it's like, first of all, you have all these arrows pointing down at them at this point. There's still, between Saul and Torvin, whatever his name is, they're still trying to be peaceful and respectful at this point. Their focus is to save the children. And you've got all these arrows pointed down at them. You've got this Spike lady like raising her arms and getting really aggressive with them. And then out of nowhere, the main mother, whose name I can't remember at this moment either, turns into this evil-looking cloud of God knows what. And it's like, you're still trying to paint this picture that it's the Jedi who are bad, that the Jedi are the ones who are doing something wrong here. Like, and then as soon as, Saul... Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it or whatever. I doubt that anybody in chat cares or anybody on the panel. But when Saul hits the cloud with the lightsaber and ends up ending that main mother, she tries to come down from this evil cloud that she was turning into and give this speech of like, oh well, I was gonna let them go. I was gonna let Osha go with you. It's what you wanted. When? After you became this evil cloud monster and scared the shit out of everybody, or was there a point where you were just going to like converse with me like a normal person and just let her go? Like none of it makes any sense. In this attempt to paint the Jedi as bad has just been butchered.
Soul could have easily solved that problem. You could have gotten a vacuum cleaner like Luigi does in Luigi's Mansion and just suck her up while she was in cloud form. And just tell her to go fuck herself after that.
It's just so bizarre. The way that they're trying to tell this story is you can see what they want to do. And honestly, maybe there was a cool maybe there was a cool idea there. Like, maybe you could tell me that there's this subset in the Jedi Order who are maybe doing something a little bit shady or outside of the main rules. And maybe there is some cool story to tell there. I'm not saying you have to tell the story that Jedi are all, perfect people and all this. I think there's a way you could tell an interesting story that not necessarily blurs the line of good and evil, because I do think it's very important to keep that distinct in the world of Star Wars. But where you could tell me that some of the good guys have corrupted a bit, or, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely type of thing, where there is this subset that maybe went a different way and maybe is straying a little too far from the path of the Jedi.
Right.
There's something cool probably to tell there. This show has no idea how to tell it.
Wow.
Just stop oil, guys. It's so easy.
Yeah, just stop oil.
I want to know where Moss Windu parked the fucking ship. That's something that's really bugging the shit out of me. Where the fuck did Moss Windu park the fucking ship? because she jumps in, right? Because Kelnaka's like been taken over, right? So just spoiler alert: Kelnaka's been taken over. The Wookiee dude, he's been taken over by the minds of all, the power of many, right? Have taken over his mind. He's beating the shit out of fucking Torben Baratheon and fucking Sol, right? He kicks through a wall. He actually kicks through a wall, and for some reason he can't just squash Torben's head up against the Torben blocks the and anyway they're all fighting, and then all of a sudden Moss Windu flies in out of nowhere, pins the Wookiee down, and starts doing some force mind melding shit,
force exorcism or something.
Eventually ends all the Sisters of the Shadows or whatever they're fucking called. It's like.
Which
can I just say that I would watch way more of this shit if it was all narrated by Jack. I just want it all narrated.
All right.
We need
great. It would be better.
We would need Acolyte by Jack Talent. It's already making it better.
Another great point in that scene too. Sorry, I know I keep rambling here about this show, but it's just like every time I come for these streams, it's like a therapy session where I get to realize, like, oh, there are other sane people are out there who realize this is crap, right? Another part about that whole scene,
you're not alone.
I'm in a safe space here. Another part about that scene too, Jack, is so she does that kind of force exorcism, and then it ends all the other witches, the power of many, all that. It ends all of them. Space, right? But the problem is that you now get the idea that, okay, so this is why May looks at them as the bad guys, that she's the one who, or the Jedi are the one who killed all her family, all the witches. And again, it's still like, no, all she was doing was trying to save her friend, her companion, from being possessed by these witches that are in this coven or cult, whatever it is. And the aftermath of that was she wasn't aware that pulling them from Kalnaka's body would end them all. That was just a side effect of her trying to save her friend. So still to go with this idea that this is why May is so mad at them and why May finds them to be the bad guys, it doesn't make sense because she still has done nothing wrong to this point. The whole thing is just, it's bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to all of us, mate.
Yeah, fair enough, right?
Mind fucked. I was telling everybody earlier that I literally ate ice cream as quickly as I could just to get brain freeze so that it would dull the pain of watching the fucking show.
Oh, you used ice cream. I was using spoons, just kind of shoving spoons.
Jack, would you say you could use that as a torture device, that show?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're like-minded like us, but if you're one of the normies that are like enjoying this shit, then
would you show that to terrorists? Would you show that to terrorists?
It feels like Disney waterboarding 101.
Yeah, it's
exactly
pretty much.
It's a rough watch, man. It's even rough if you just like good storytelling and good TV shows. Like, tell me this wasn't Star Wars. Paint it with, I don't know, whatever else. Paint it in the Rebel Moon universe. Whatever, could be anything. It's still just a fundamentally horribly written and created show. Add on the fact of what it does wrong to Star Wars, and that's when you're really just like, dude, I have had enough of this.
You could have called it Star Wars Rebel Moon, and it wouldn't have made any difference.
Nope.
How did Leslye Headland get a writing gig? Because she's known for just basically making appointments.
I can give you the right answer. I give you a visual
with actresses.
I can give you a visual for that.
Yeah,
I'll give you a visual for that. Here,
they don't call her Headland for nothing.
Wow. Well, I mean, hey,
it's true. She's Harvey Weinstein's former assistant. Don't forget. Or whatever.
Wait, what?
He taught her everything she knows.
Wow. Yeah. And we know how that went.
Never let that live down. Leslye Headland is the former personal assistant to Harvey motherfucking Weinstein.
Yep, and she's also Robbie Coltrane's stunt double.
With a head like a fucking brick.
like a block. I like to call it Leslye Blockhead because that thing is about as square as it gets.
I should not have told you that. I should not have told you that.
That's what I said earlier, Jay. If you replace her head with the image of a fucking Mario swamp, it's no different.
Yeah.
She has a head like a fucking swamp.
That head's got a lot of right angles. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yep, perfect description now here. Perfect description.
Harvey's Acolyte. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
there's always two, right?
One master and one student.
There are.
Oh wait, 3 but 5. Something more.
I need to like decompress from this shit. Like, just
you're
listening.
Let's move on. Let's find another subject.
Talking about this with people
Tell a
makes my
joke.
brain melt.
Joe, smooth. Tell a joke.
And it's not going to get any better when we move on to what Capcom's doing.
Right.
The Dead Rising remaster.
You must know.
It's just going to go downhill.
I got jokes, but I need to think of them on the fly, to be honest. Let's move on with the next item that we wanted to talk about since we got Star Wars out of the way now, which is I don't know if you heard about this. Dead Rising is actually making a comeback. The original game, believe it or not.
It was a great
Rising
game.
Deluxe remaster.
Huge fan of that game.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're pulling this, and I'm like,
yeah.
why?
I was a bit confused by that.
What's the point?
Right, let's just get into it, shall we? So, Bounding Into Comics released an article saying, in seeming attempt to avoid offense, Capcom race swaps a psychopath enemy from Asian to white in upcoming Dead Rising Deluxe remaster. Right, I've got a quick question for Capcom right away. Why the fuck do you hate Asian people? Asian hate, you motherfuckers? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I mean, you have to. Okay, if Capcom's going to do that, they're going to have to go back to Street Fighter and all the others and start changing the races in those games too. If they're going to pull this crap,
you couldn't even get what's this guy's name? The assistant of Bison called again? Fang.
Yeah,
I think it was Fang. Yeah. He's like a extreme Chinese stereotype as well. If you really think about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can't even do that one anymore. But yeah, let's go into this article real quick.
If you go just quickly, if you go back to the original Street Fighter, I'm still fucking on Star Wars. If you go back to the original Street Fighter, right? Yeah. Balrog, the boxer, the black boxer, was actually supposed to be Mike Tyson, but they couldn't do that because of copyright things or whatever it was. Right. Mike Tyson had a problem with that. So they called him Mike Bison instead, right? Yep. But then they decided to swap it completely.
And that's why he was
That's why they called M. Bison, Bison. So they just gave him that character's name, but that's who they were basing that character on.
Yeah.
They're all, but the point is, it's like, there are people from different races all throughout the game. What difference does it make that they're all fucking beating each other up? So what? That Ken can beat up a little girl? Do you know what I mean? Who's she's not really that little, is she? But a muscly little girl. Do you know what I mean? What's wrong with that? You're the one who chose the character. You could have chose any one out of those characters you wanted to, and you've got to fight all of them to win the game.
Yeah.
It's literally the World Martial Arts Tournament.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the whole
exactly.
World
it's a celebration
Martial
of the
Arts
world.
Tournament.
You got a Jamaican beating up a Chinese police officer. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just go through the
rattles, you know.
Yeah, but if you just go through the original Street Fighter, like you had Japan, China, India, fucking Brazil, America, Spain.
Japan.
Yeah, I said that one. Spain and what else?
Russia.
It said U.S.
The
Brazil. USA, Guile. Yeah. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, so what really gripes my shit about this whole thing is I've played the original Dead Rising. I never saw any problems with these psychopaths being
I didn't.
Another ethnicity, to be honest with you. I mean, Frank West looks fucking stupid in this game. I mean, he's close to the original box art. I give him that. But still, he looks fucking stupid. This is the original image of the Asian guy, Larry Chang.
Perry Chan?
Who was, well, he said distant cousin of Perry Chan. Perry Chan lets himself go a bit too much. But yeah, he was, unsurprisingly, in the light of his name, was depicted as a bald and heavy-set Chinese individual. Shocking, I know. The Chinese character for meat even tattooed down on his neck. Well,
yes.
Wait a minute. That looks like the woman who just recently came out on Twitter and said that she's not a USA citizen and that waving the USA flag is racist and colonialist.
Right? Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the graphics of the game have aged poorly. It's a game from 2006 on Xbox 360, but still. I don't understand why you have to make it a white guy now, though.
Oh man,
is this the new guy?
Wow. This is the new guy.
This is the new guy.
He's the new butcher. He looks like Walter White when he had too much KFC. He looks like Walter White having too much KFC. That's what he looks like.
That is nuts. I actually hadn't seen that yet. That is nuts.
And you know what's funny?
Around the model of one of the survivors that you can pick up, they got rid of the stockings on her legs or something like that. It was some weird kind of shit. But yeah, I don't understand why they have to race swap a Chinese guy who is a psychopath. Like, does Capcom USA imply that only white people can be psychopaths and psychopath killers?
Well, and that's one thing. That's one thing that stands out right out of the gate.
They're going the whole put the hat on the bald guy with the wireframe glasses and crazy eyes. They're playing into the stereotypical. This is what a psychopath looks like.
Yeah, it's
there's a speculation going on as well. It says it's currently theorized that Chang's character was edited in order to avoid drawing accusations of racism regarding his design, which some could disingenuously reach to interpret as a racial caricature. Newsflash: a lot of game characters are caricatures. It doesn't fucking matter who you are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and they're meant to be by design. They're meant to be over the top. They're meant to be, cartoonish, especially in a game like that where they're meant to be this over the top, cartoonish, over animated type of. I mean, that's kind. It's a caricature.
It's the animated villain that's just like over exaggerated that makes you go, ooh, kind of gives you extra little shivers.
I wonder who it was who sort of made the decision that Asia, it would be racist to associate Asian characters with psychopaths and mass murderers. When you've got, let's have a look at history. We've got start off with Genghis Khan. Then we've got Emperor Hirohito, Pol Pot, and Chairman Mao. So between those four people, they've probably killed 200 million, if not more.
At least.
Don't forget the Three Kings.
All right, and that's the thing is that you have psychopaths all over the fucking place. It doesn't matter.
And then you go, and then you're gonna go. Well, okay, you make him look what?
Like a goon.
Yeah, like a goon. I mean, to be fair, he does not look like he looks white adjacent. He's not exactly like proper white.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make this compromise.
That's the fault of the shit.
Dara, you're laughing. Dara,
he kind of looks more like a drunk uncle.
Yeah, to a degree.
I am drunk Mexican uncle or something like that, right? So it's not like exactly like 100% white. What really bugs me about this is why do you make this change like 18 years after the original game came out?
Right.
Why?
Why? Why now?
Well, right, and I think ultimately we know why now. It's the
I got a prediction.
All the stuff going on with
because they can
Baby Inks of the world and all that nonsense, but
and they don't
because it'll still sell.
I think they don't also want to be affected by the cancel culture either. They
I got a very plausible. No, I got a very bold prediction. I got a very bold prediction.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you they're gonna try to market the re-release, obviously, for the Chinese market. Kind of would be like looking a little bit fucky if you now have the overweight Chinese butcher guy being the psychopathic mass murderer asshole.
You gotta kill.
But I mean, you already released the game. You already released the game once with that character, as it was. However it did over China is probably however it would do now. Because it's a remaster. It's not like new people are really going to come to the original Dead Rising game. Now just because it's remastered, maybe you get a handful, sure. In terms of
you'll get those who are like,
it's going to be who liked it the first time, exactly.
I think what bugs me. Here's the thing.
Yep, go ahead.
We, as people that understand the gaming media, knows this. This decision was made by a corporate suit in fucking California.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a fair point. That's probably where they're coming from. We just realize that it's an illogical way to think about this. And I think, generally speaking, what annoys me about this is, one, the hypocrisy of, even just that headline alone, in order to avoid offending people. Yep. Can white people not be offended? Is that some new thing that I've never heard of? Like, anybody can be offended. So why is it okay to do it, to move it from one to the other, just to not offend one, but it's fine to potentially offend the other, which I don't think many people will be offended at it being changed to white in terms of like, oh, I can't believe they made a white person a psychopath. Like, generally speaking, who gives a shit about that? They'll be more offended at the hypocrisy behind that kind of thinking, which is just so foolish.
What really bugs me about this? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No? And what really bugs me about this whole situation is, there's always this Stop Asian Hate thing going on. Well, that stuff relatively quick, and you know exactly why. And then you have like these people saying like Japanese or Chinese, well, Japanese are white adjacent. Then you have people being scared of fucking China all the fucking time, doing this, Bing shilling, kind of shit. And the thing is, I don't think this remaster wasn't done in-house by Capcom.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Capcom USA outsourced this to a Chinese company. I bet you that's one of the reasons. They hired some Chinese people to work on this game, and they were like, "Well, you cannot depict Chinese people like that." Get rid of that.
So what, you think the CCP?
It's also the same thing where Ubisoft is changing their stuff for Assassin's Creed. It's kind of it's very in the same vein.
Oh, Smooth, you like to talk like that, huh? Yeah.
I'd like to talk like that, yeah. So here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Do you guys remember when South Park Stick of Truth came out?
Yep.
There was always a regional censorship, one specific censorship per region. In Germany, it was the swastika bands having the black censorship line, and also the anal probing scene with Stan Marsh, which was censored almost everywhere except America, I think.
Right.
Or Australia, I'm not too sure. There was always a very specific censorship image being shown. I think in Australia it was a koala when he was probed, and in Europe it was like a statue just doing the face palm. It was kind of funny. And then in America it was completely uncensored. So you also had the joke with the difficulty level of white being easy and black being very hard in that game. Nobody bat an eye about that shit back then. Nobody did. Even if you were a black Jew, you had the hardest way to get through the game. But then again, you had the power of jujitsu. So,
and I think that's a benefit that South Park has kind of been grandfathered in terms of them, even now with their shows and stuff they're doing. They somehow kind of got grandfathered in past all this cancel culture stuff where, they're seemingly able to kind of still do their show and their products the way they've always wanted to. Yeah, which is a bit refreshing because it kind of reminds you of that time when, people weren't so uptight and people could have jokes and laugh about, things that aren't really the end of the world in a lot of people's minds. I mean, if it is in yours, so be it. I can't tell you otherwise, but in a lot of people's minds, these kind of things aren't what makes, it's who we are that makes us who we are, not so much these more surface level things in terms of nationality, skin color, stuff like that. So a lot of people were okay just having a good laugh about stereotypes, things like that. As long as it was in good fun and you could have an actual laugh about it. It's not attacks and things like that.
Go on, Yarnie, because you've been trying to get in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what my husband said.
Well done. Well played.
Sorry, buddy. Bye.
sorry. I'm sorry, honey. I love you. I'm just kidding.
Mr. Yarnie.
Poor Mr. Yarnie. He's probably
like, no.
I'm gonna get a text in a minute going, "Hey, I love you." Before you.
No, you'll get
too far.
No, thanks, Jack.
You're gonna pay for that later, and you know it.
I'm literally getting a fax in while we're broadcasting. So let me just see what the message says. Yeah.
Oh no.
It says,
"Go on then, Yarnie."
It's okay. I can't remember what I was gonna say. It's okay. But Jack,
God damn it!
Oh man, sorry, Yarnie.
No. Do it. This is the way it works. It's my fault. I got ADD.
Right, I got the fax now. So here's the message from Yarnie's husband that he sent to me, so he can direct it to her.
I love you.
Welcome.
But you forgot the second part where he now expects a sandwich.
Ain't that the truth? Right. So the original Dead Rising, I remember when it came out, it was actually banned in Germany, so I actually had to import it from the UK so I could actually play it.
Right.
Yep, because Germany was very draconian with gaming censorship back then.
It was.
And everything that was just remotely close to realistic violence was always verboten in the good old land of Deutschland.
Realistic violence, Dead Rising.
Exactly.
Wasn't
Wolfenstein was always banned? Yeah, either banned or altered, heavily altered.
Yes.
Yeah, until the new trilogy come out.
My favorite tidbit is always this one. In the Wolfenstein, the second from the reboot, the second game.
New
Colossus. I think it was.
New Blood. New Blood. I think it's New Blood.
It was New Blood.
New. You sure?
Yes.
New Colossus was the one with BJ Blazkowicz, but the point is, there is a scene in that game where the German censors took offense to Hitler actually being in the game. So what did they do? They actually redubbed all the lines in the German version of the game to say Chancellor instead of Führer. And then they went out of their fucking way to remove Hitler's mustache
No.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
And shooting a guy in an audition because he was from Arizona, not because he was a Jew.
Oh my god.
Well, no, I thought he was Ronald Reagan is why I thought, because he was an actor, and so it sounded like Ronald Reagan-ish is what that person was.
I can't even remember the context for that scene anymore. It's been so long.
Tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev.
Yes, exactly. Nine,
You
nine,
could do
eight,
better job, yeah. You could do better, yeah. Go down to
Now bring me
It's a
my
message.
What the stupid are you doing? This is stupid.
Eva,
Bring
bring
me
me
my
my
sandwich.
schnitzel.
or
Bring me my
gold
schnitzel, Eva.
or gold number.
I need my leg and horse in my schnitzels.
I like gold.
Exactly. It just kind of, it was very comedic the way they censored it. And it was sad,
I
too,
don't-
because nobody got to really enjoy the game and it the way it was intended.
See, that's one of the many reasons why I was always grateful that I was raised bilingual and I was able to import games from abroad. Because in Austria, I could always import the game from Austria or from the UK. Austria had the advantage of having the German box art. I never fucking cared for that, but for regional purposes, it was much easier importing from there because they didn't have the same censorship rules that we had.
Interesting.
Granted, it was more expensive to import the game from Austria to Germany, but we were still able to play it. Smoke and a pancake. No, bong and a blitz.
Bong and a blitz.
Fucking Christ.
His Faja.
Yeah. His Barger? What?
For those who aren't aware what happened to Wolfenstein, so essentially the Germans were always very iffy with the depiction of a swastika in any pieces of media that is not historical. So you always had to either alter it with the Iron Cross, or you were not allowed to publish the game, which is fucking retarded in my opinion, because it is not historically accurate, but still.
It's censoring history.
Yeah, and history, and that goes back as far as, and this comes back from my studies in film school of Leni Riefenstahl. She was an amazing director, and the way she told the story, she was just telling the story, and she got blacklisted from the industry because she was just trying to tell the truth, and they didn't want that. What was that? Triumph of the Will? That was the piece.
Triumph of the Will, that was the one.
Yeah.
And it just got her blacklisted.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I think they're still going to be affected by their past no matter what, because again, it's always going to be brought up to the Germans themselves, because unfortunately, unfortunately, it's in history, right? You're going to have the books. I'm just saying it as a fact because it's gonna be a catch-22, right? Like you want to try to get away from that past, and then they keep reminding you about that past, and you're like, but and that's why I think the migration stuff is so devastating to them, because they're trying to repent, I guess, but that's the wrong way to do it.
Well, the more you try to avoid something, the more you try to ignore it.
But the thing about it is people forget. If you don't learn from your history, you're bound to repeat it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
and also
inevitable. There's
people,
no way around that.
The German people of now didn't cause anything that happened back then. That's the issues, right? You are not the bearer of your past. I mean, it's like, what's the saying?
Exactly. But it's to know what your past was and be like, okay, these are things we don't do.
Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter anyway, because you're still going to have people like, what was it? There was Genghis Khan, but then there was someone after him thousands of years later. So it's not like there's something learned. It's going to disappear eventually. The point of the matter is, though, is that Germans are going to have to accept that, something bad happened in their country. And they were kind of the first people that were invaded, because not all of them agreed with it. But at the end of the day, though, they can't carry that cross anymore. They're going to have to just let it go, and that's going to be a difficult thing.
Exactly.
Well, I think not to get too into that.
Exactly.
Into the talk,
and I agree with that too. With that comment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct.
And that actually goes kind of along with what I was going to say here. Not to go too far into either subject, just for YouTube's sake and things like that, but just in the idea of learning from history, and like Zab mentioned, you have to know your history in order to try to avoid it again in the future. It's not just that's a lesson for Germany or for America in those regards.
It's a lesson
it's a lesson for humanity. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nothing really separates us as humans other than cultural differences. But in terms of the ability to do things that aren't right, we all carry that no matter what country, nation.
And that way, if we understand the history,
for all of us to know,
we can all be on the same page and have a conversation, not a conflict.
Right. Yeah. Well put. I like that.
And the funny part is, for the censorship in fucking Germany over here, you would think you have a video game where a bunch of these fucking retarded chuckle fucks get shot in the face. That would be hilarious. And then you censor it. It's like, you don't want them to be shot. It's like, are you dumb? Don't answer that one, please, because the answer is going to be retarded. But like, what the fuck?
Smooth, bring up John's thing. Bring up John's comment.
Yes, I wanted to do that. Change the language to change the culture. Change the culture to revise history. Revise history to alter facts.
Correct.
And
exactly.
and so on.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
And then you get Yasuke.
And then that becomes a vicious cycle that you can't get out of.
Yep.
There's no escape from that. It's a cyclone, just goes around and round and round. And then with all the confusion, that's the goal, is the confusion. Keep them confused. That way we can keep control.
Well, let me put it this way, right? Remember years ago, right? They were tearing down statues of old Civil War stuff. And then there was that. Again, when people talk about the legacy thing, it's not a forever thing unless you can put it in stone where it can't be moved. And even then, you could still have people try to erode it away, because, again, you just saw the Thomas Jefferson statue being removed. You saw the, what was it, the Grant or whatever it is of the Civil War being removed. So when people talk about legacy, it's a funny feeling, because at the end of the day, a legacy does not last forever, because someone can come along and destroy it. Just think of it this way. How many winners have revised history and we don't even know it?
Well, I mean, back in the 90s, they knocked down that fucking Berlin Wall, didn't they? Didn't leave a piece of it up, the bastards.
Yeah, they did. But how long does a wall last?
Oh, did they? There's still a piece of the Berlin Wall still up.
The east and west.
There is
I have to go and check myself a piece off of that.
Yes.
For tourism. It's near Checkpoint Charlie.
Yeah,
okay, I did not know that. I'll have to go and visit that now and chip myself a little piece off.
With everything else, there's also, I think, not too far from that, is the Hall of Shim with the Wall of Names. But I mean, that's all in that same area.
But going back to the German stuff, I just think that individual Germans will have to learn to get past it, because the country as a whole is not. That's just the way it is. So if individuals can let that past go and find that future they can go towards, individual Germans will have a better life than they will as a collective whole, because right now it's not going to happen. It's just this.
That goes for the entire world. You know?
That's true.
Yeah, every nation has its blemishes. You know, wrong, or black eyes rather. Probably a better way to put it, because it's more. Could you that have been done than just blemishes?
Could you believe that all of human history, every country has been built on blood, one way or another?
Literally,
absolutely.
Yeah,
blood and greed.
That's how it works.
Absolutely.
Blood, greed, and power, basically. Blood, greed.
I want to piggyback to something you were saying earlier, Dara. When it comes to learning history and learning the accountability for it for generations to come.
Yeah.
I used to think that it was still responsible for all the deaths that used to happen in the 1940s.
Yes.
But luckily, my teachers punched that thought out of my head relatively quick. They were like, "You couldn't have done anything about this. You were born way past that. But you can learn something from that. You can learn to not repeat the same fucking mistake."
Exactly.
That these people have done. And that's the general idea about history. You want to learn something about what happened in the past, and make sure you don't repeat that. That's why we have these lessons still. And I think it's very fucking important that we still do that, because you see it all the time at the moment. History being altered all the time.
Yes.
For no fucking reason whatsoever. And it really, really pisses me off.
Right.
Because
sorry, go ahead.
No,
it's the same with Black Anne Boleyn, for example. Like, we know for a fact that Anne Boleyn was black, for example, or Cleopatra. See, it's like this revisionist bullshit history that really grips my shit. It's like, yeah, but my mom said if I didn't, I thought that was not true, then it's not right. It's like this kind of attitude. Like, I learned it differently in school. Like, my mama told me that Cleopatra was black. Like, I don't know.
The next thing the BBC are doing. Have you heard about this? The next thing the BBC are doing is
starfish.
The next thing the BBC are doing is racially diverse Anglo-Saxons at the Battle of Hastings.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Really?
Yeah. Racially diverse Anglo-Saxons at the Battle of Hastings.
Yeah.
There goes here's a fun one. Here's a fun one. Does anybody know, like, just literally out of curiosity, Does anybody know what happened to the Netflix project where they tried to do the show about the fucking Vikings, and then their Viking leader, who was literally a ginormous pale white man, was supposed to be a black woman? Has that project ever started?
I thought they released that. I thought it was like a season of Vikings. I thought that may have come out.
It's not in Vikings. Wait, I can look it up.
It's not. Yeah, I vaguely remember what you're talking about. I might have just been confused at the time.
I think it's not been out yet. It's not out yet. I don't think. I think it was being made.
Either it's not out yet, or it was Vikings, because I remember them talking. It was a king. It was a king, and they turned it into a black. Sumo, I don't know what that means. You're going to have to translate.
It's a bunch of gibberish.
Hey, at least it's not the Killing Joke, right? Like if I say the Killing Joke, a German's gonna pass out. I don't want to do that.
I think just in general, every nation's has its histories of horrendous wrongdoings, and it's like Zap said, like I think we all kind of said it at some point or other here. It's about learning from it and not repeating it again from each other nation's wrongdoings as well. It's not that anything specific to Germany or to America or to England or to France. It's that we all, as the human race, learn from them all together and try to avoid ever doing it again.
It all depends on your perspective, because I call them glorious victories. So,
but the thing is, when you hear this, it's not something that you should take on as a burden or a weight for yourself. That's not its purpose.
Yeah,
it's a learning experience. So you can say, "Oh, what they did was wrong. I don't want to follow in those footsteps.
Let's never let it happen again."
Of all of the people that it hurt and all the lives it destroyed. That's not what life is about.
Well, it's two things. It's two things. It's either a learning experience or it's a forgetting experience, because nothing lasts forever.
Exactly.
Right?
It's one of the two.
So 2 things real quick. I just want to stress something.
Yes.
Learn to read books and actually go into a library to educate yourself.
Absolutely.
And don't listen to everybody on the fucking internet.
Yeah, no, because
that's point number 1.
That's true.
And number 2, we got Melee K coming in from Melee Games.
Hey, Melee.
Hey, Melee.
Good to see you. Bless you.
Hey,
With
Kay.
5 gifted smooth memberships.
Nice.
You didn't have to do that, So let's see who are the lucky ones. Naganal, Uncle Martin with the mountain bike, Andrew Matthews, Mirren, Mr. Catfish, Tracy Reeves. Hey, that's a good solid round of super memberships. Thank you very much, Melee K. Appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to Melee Games,
yes,
they're a bunch of crazy people. They're
Melee
amazing.
is awesome. They are awesome over at Melee. James and Kay, they're fantastic.
Kay and James are amazing. I love these people. So,
I knew it was Vikings. I knew it was Vikings, Tracy.
It was Vikings. Yep.
Was it Vikings?
It was Vikings. Yep.
Yes.
I thought it might have been.
Let me just grab the article real quick so we can actually check this out. Was it on my side or on? I know it was on Tommy's side. Okay, let me just grab the link real quick. Let me pop that into the browser.
And then just to circle back to finish off how this topic initially started with was Dead Rising. I would say just in general, to get back to that, my one prediction for this is I don't think quite yet that this changes enough to really sink this remaster of this game.
I don't think so either.
Right.
No,
I think if you start to
it
see
won't.
more of it leaking out and finding out that they're doing more of this stuff, I think it could have an effect on it, and you'd probably see people go back to playing that original in droves. The same, similar to how Suicide Squad had such a bad effect on the Rocksteady games that you saw a spike in the original Batman Arkham games.
And people also miss some things when they pull stunts like this. This is also a boilerplate for PR stunts to drive interest in back catalogs.
Right, exactly.
And purchase and there's like, well, our stock is poor and our sales are poor. Let's drive interest of our old back catalog. People want the new stuff because we don't care about the new stuff. They want the old stuff.
And I think that's a great point, Zap. And I could see it more with something like this, where it's just a remaster, which probably isn't super costly to make. I can't say that for sure. Versus an area like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, where that was a huge investment in terms of money put into it that backfired on them. And then, sent people back to those back catalogs. But I think you could see it more planned in something like this with a remaster versus that one where it was like their initial plan, which was that game being a success, totally went to shit, and then people went back to the game.
There's so many people doing PR stunts right now.
Right.
It's unreal because that's what's fire right now. Everybody wants some kind of stunt. They want to say, ooh, I can't believe you did this. A shock and awe moment. We're back circling around to the shock and awe.
And they want people to have that. Well, I'll just go play the originals. And to them, it's like, well, great. Now you're going to buy it on Steam again for me. Thank you. So I could definitely see a bit of that going on as well.
But it's nothing new under the sun because they've done it before. They did it before with Suicide Squad. They did it before with other games. This is my thing, right? Where people, you can talk about games all day long. Sure, go back to the retro, whatever. But when you come to the new games, right, you talk. And then when the game comes out, you're like, why is it still selling? Why is it still doing this? Well, because one, there's still people
you drove the interest.
Well, yeah, exactly. You brought attention. You elevated the attention in here, and that made them check it out there. And of course, what was it? The Final Fantasy VII did sell well, but that's because of exclusivity, and the same with the Stellar Blade. That was mostly due to exclusivity. But at the end of the day, though, it's great to talk about the stuff you love to do. But when you start talking about things or they're bringing out this DI stuff, whatever, I want to starve these people. I want to go to Sony and say, look, your games are crap. No more money. Right? I want to take the snake by the head.
But that's gonna take people in mass to do that. And that's not gonna happen. And they know it.
Real quick. I just want to bring something up real quick. Since we're on the verge of changing topics. Something that doesn't drain your fucking wallet and is actually rewarding. So I'm just gonna
Yay. Something that doesn't steal.
Don't worry, it's not Pornhub. I'll promise you that. Speaking of something that is more rewarding for you, the lovely Yarnwich's store, pineandcauldron.com. If you haven't already and you're looking for a present for your significant other or maybe for yourself if you want some high quality yarn, why not consider going to pineandcauldron.com and actually check out her website and see what she's selling. She actually recently had a sale with Stars and Stripes yarn themed. So if you're feeling especially patriotic still after 4th of July, why not grab yourself some high quality yarn made in the US? What are you waiting for? Use discount code SMOO10 for 10% off at checkout.
Nice. Absolutely, go check out Pine and Cauldron.
And if you actually put many strands together, it makes really good binding.
I will not confirm nor deny.
You get some decent willy warmers out of that one. I can guarantee you that.
One quick point I'd like to make before we head on to the next subject, I want to make just one quick point to
I think we already
Dara's last point. Yeah, fair enough. To Dara's last point there, I do think there's something to what you're saying about the idea of, the chatter kind of driving people to some games.
Yep.
But what I would argue is that I think it's coming from two different perspectives right now. For example, like the games you mentioned, Stellar Blade, for example, what we saw with the Hogwarts game. I think the side of the gaming world, or even if it's just people peering into the gaming world to kind of fight their political battles and things like that, I think the side of it that is drawing the attention that actually helps a game is that kind of DEI, I'm offended by this kind of side, where you had the offense of Stellar Blade, which brought more regular gamers to want to play that game. Same thing for Hogwarts. You had that group that wanted to cancel it because of J.K. Rowling, and it brought people to it, and that game was very successful. And then you're seeing the side of it that now is the DEI side that's making it from the Sweet Baby Inks, like your Suicide Squad, that game did get starved, and that game did fail astronomically in terms of finances because it was made so poorly. And there was a lot of talk about it and a lot of chatter about it with the DEI Detected or Sweet Baby Ink Detected site and all that. And that was actually a case of it crushing that game and its success. So I do think it happens in terms of that talk bringing stuff to it. But so far, I think what we've seen is actually the positive side of it that we want to see, where that kind of toxic side of just, I want to hate things because I'm offended people, they're kind of losing those battles, and the side of real gamers who just want games are actually winning that side of it.
I think the one that helped the issue is having that what was it, that guy that made the connector thing that showed where games, if they were connected
was it Cabrutus? Is that the name? I think I have it right. Yep.
Now that is something that works more in the benefit of, because what was it, the Zao game, the African game that was
the more recent one. The name's slipping my mind, but I know what you're mentioning.
It was it was connected in the way of was it production or whatever by Sweet Baby Ink.
That consulting.
So Sweet Baby Ink, the word itself alone is now a poison pill. For games, and once people hear it, they're like, no, and that's great, because at the end of the day, though, these companies, doesn't matter what company it is, all they understand is money. That's all they understand.
That's the language they speak.
The bottom line. That's the bottom line.
So what do you do to make them understand you don't like the game? Well, you could talk about it, sure, whatever, and get that message across, or you could starve them. Like we're gonna have to take that old raccoon out sooner or later and just starve the crap out of him until he's so thin you can just kick him. You got to do that with the companies.
Speaking of draining,
I do think
we have a late edition. We have a late edition, by the way. Someone decided to show up after all. This is great.
Hey! There he is. Late but good. That's it. How is it?
Late than never.
Sorry, Teases.
Hello, Stacey.
I was hoping we were going to wrap this up, but now we'll be here for another 3 hours.
I'm going to wrap for another 3 hours. Done.
Motherfucker, we started half an hour later. Bet your ass we're going to take.
No.
We've already spoken about the Wackolite, so.
Yeah. You know what that's
I do not want to talk about that show anymore.
That's the thing.
We've already covered that.
You know what that fucker did? He was out with friends, of course. He just fucking sit in the back, waited for us to finish talking about it, and then snuck in and be like, "Yes, I escaped."
He was playing some Deer Hunter, just waiting for the Acolyte to be done, and now here we are.
I just wanted to talk about other shit like the Deer Hunter. Time Bandit.
Oh my god, you guys are killing me today. Speaking of Sweet Baby Inc., Hanayama brought this to my attention. Look who's the latest client of Sweet Baby Inc.
Oh yes.
You won't be surprised. I bet you won't even be surprised about that one.
I'm waiting to find it out.
Yep.
The
latest Indiana Jones game will be
so I can
written
clutch
by
them and
Sweet
bask in
Baby.
shock. Oh no.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, I mean, imagine my shock, right? Like a freaking Indiana Jones game being written by Sweet Baby Inc.
Well, had you guys seen that video that came out a little while ago? It was from the developers of this game, where they were maybe this was actually it here, this showcase reveal. It could have been it. They were doing this whole kind of like, welcome to our I forget what company it was, but this is our company. We're the ones who worked on it, the devs, all this stuff. And the entire thing is essentially like, at one point, they literally say something along the lines of, Indy is kind of, the main character in this, but this new female character we have, whose name I'm forgetting, is the heart and soul of the game. And it's just like, oh, okay, so that's what we're doing here, right?
It's just like his niece in the movie, right? Essentially.
I'm not sure if it's movie related. I can't remember.
Yeah, isn't this one of the ones where the developer came out and one of the head developers were like, it's going to be modern representation,
right?
Yes,
yeah.
With that rainbow t-shirt, kind of looking a little bit ambiguous with their gender and all.
Oh no,
Oh yeah, this is a
deal. Look, it's actually the actual gameplay. What we actually saw of it actually looked like pleasing. Let's say that. The rest of it, what they got behind it, is just going to be eye rolls back in the head kind of job.
And even if the gameplay is good, it's going to be so difficult to like it just based off the idea of like, it's not just this is like some new IP that they're working with and the story could hit or miss, depending, we'll see on that. But it's that you're using a well-established IP that people have loved for decades. So if you ruin a story of indie, you sink your game's chances. You could have the best gameplay out there. You sink your game's chances, pretty much out of the gate because people love that. Look at Spider-Man 2, for example. I stand by the idea that Spider-Man 2 doesn't have bad gameplay. Is it a little bit unrealistic in some of the scenes with Mary Jane and all that, which are boring anyways? Those levels are unrealistic. I mean, you got to beat up a guy for 10 minutes with Spider-Man, but Mary Jane can take him out with a taser in 2 seconds. Like that stuff. The gameplay is not perfect.
25 health bar.
Yeah. But those moments when you're actually playing as Spider-Man, it is still fun and it feels like you're playing as Spider-Man. But the whole game is undercut by an awful story, silly side missions, and just nonsense in it that doesn't make much sense and is not really Spider-Man relevant. It's just nonsense from Sweet Baby Inc.
My favorite part of that whole game is where Miles Morales turns into a little white cube.
Yeah, the glitch. Yeah,
the glitch. Yeah, I'm like,
that's my favorite part of that game.
There. Yeah.
So we got Logical Robot. I'm assuming he's from Tomby's Twitch side. Machine Games are one of the most talented devs around. They have a good history outside of Wolfenstein, New Youngblood, he says. I mean,
is that who's working on
solid game? Machine Head is working on Indiana Jones.
Okay. I wasn't aware.
They are the same developers. That's why it's first person. Because that was the first thing that really bugged me about the game. I was like, why is it first person?
It's first person, huh? I don't know that I like that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of first person Indiana Jones. You got some very decent games in the past by Lucas Arts for the Xbox as well. I think it was like a trilogy even, and even some point and click adventures that are fairly decent. So if you're into retro point and click adventures, check those games out. They're far more rewarding. And Spider-Man 2 felt like a huge downgrade. I agree with that. Visually,
100%.
it looks uglier.
100%.
Looks uglier. Mary Jane looks 10 years older somehow, even though the game is supposed to be taking place like 1 or 2 years after the first game, which make sense. How does Mary Jane age 10 years?
McDonald's.
It's definitely a massive downgrade from the first game. I only just maintain that some of the gameplay as Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and even the Miles, give or take Miles, like him, not like him, whatever. But just if we're looking at it from a pure gameplay perspective, it is fluid. It's fun when you're just kind of swinging around, beating up bad guys. Like that side of it, I can say was still done fairly well. The game as a whole was an absolute downgrade from the first one, without question.
Which Spider-Man 2? Because I'm thinking back to the days of Spider-Man 2, with Bruce
PlayStation
game.
One.
The movie game was great. That was one of my favorite of all time.
Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 1 is fucking excellent.
Yeah,
it still holds up. I think it's a very excellent game, and the fact that you can mix and match like web powers and all that stuff was freaking awesome. But let's actually,
And then had Bruce Campbell be your narrator throughout.
Through the
half sarcastic commentary. I love that. Yeah,
they brought back. I think they brought back the original cast too, Toby, and I think.
I think he did the voice acting in it. Kirsten Dunst, I think.
Kirsten Dunst, that's right. I couldn't remember the name.
Even Tobey Maguire, who was making the performance of his lifetime.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I want to say there was some contractual obligation at those days when they had all those movie tie-ins for the actors to try to make the actual voice acting happen for the games.
Too. Yeah, Spider-Man 1 and 2, because there was the 1 and 2. Yeah.
Hey, Davey, how's it going, man?
What's the score then, Davey? Because we've not been watching.
Yeah, we're
saying it's coming on. What's the score?
Setting up for
Spain. You want a spoiler?
Spoiler.
England won 2-1, 90-minute.
Yes.
Wow, another late one.
The boys from the Midlands, Ollie Watkins, smashed it in a 90th minute.
Congrats to England. That's great. Is it so? It's setting up for
England
England,
in the
Spain,
finals
right?
now. Then
England, Spain.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Sunday.
It's gonna be tough. England. It won't be easy.
Wait a minute. That's the sign of the apocalypse if England is in the finals.
They were in it last time, right? Sorry, not to go on a tangent of Euros. Yeah, I do love my my football, as you guys call it. We call it soccer.
It's called football.
We got a different football here. But, I do love my football, so that's great. Good for you guys. I was rooting for Portugal, so we unfortunately felt some France heartbreak this time.
Guys, if you have an Xbox that's backwards compatible and you haven't played Prototype yet, give that a shot. That's actually a pretty good game too, especially the first one. It's a guy who gains like mutant powers, and it's pretty similar to
like the Venom powers almost, aren't
with
they?
Venom powers, kind of
hyper evolve his limbs and swing around.
You get like the plant-based, like with thorns and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. I love that.
There was actually a great Spider-Man game with Venom that came out on the PS2. The name of it is slipping my mind at the moment, but it was more comic book style. You actually played as Spider-Man and Venom. Oh man, it's slipping my mind right now, but I love that game. Played the hell out of it as a kid. It was better than the
Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yes, that's it. Ultimate Spider-Man. Yep.
That game
has a comic book style. It was great. Wolverine was in it. It was a really good one.
Alex Mercer. Yeah, that's the one. Alex Mercer. There you go. When a yank comes on that's not a sports person, it's all noise in the wind, meaning no good at the ball kicking. You got something to say for you down there?
What? I hear you. I hear all the way from down here. Can you speak a little louder, please? Yeah?
Sprechen Sie bitte lauter. Ich höre Sie nicht.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Shouted not.
Why?
Hans?
Shout.
Someone brings the food, please.
I like that comment. I like that comment.
I disavow.
Mike with tea rules.
I disavow, and I don't even drink tea. I disavow.
Ooh, someone's bringing the heat. It's called a microwave. What?
See, that's the funny thing.
You are on thin fucking ice.
That's okay. I know how to swim.
And because I would allow the I would that as allow the soccer calling, but microwave tea, you're gonna get booted into the fucking sun, mate.
I'm not a tea drinker, so I only go with the soccer comment on that one.
I am, and I'm out, so I'm going to go make one.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a tea.
This is where you're gonna hear Microwave explode. Metallic mug goes in.
Friendly piece of advice that I told a colleague today because he was too retarded to actually listen to me. Actually put a fucking CD in the microwave.
Oh, that went well. That went well.
Don't fucking.
That is a cool effect, though. When you stick a CD in a microwave, it creates a cool effect, but it'll blow your fucking microwave up eventually.
Yeah, it'll be the last effect you ever see.
The metal surface and all of that is reflecting all of the waves, and they're bouncing everywhere, and they don't know where to go, and then you get all the extra energy, and boom.
Actually, I like it. I like it.
Naganel's comment is pretty accurate too. I like that. Let's move on to something more rewarding, shall we? Since we're on the topic of games, so let's talk about games. So
I mean, if you by the way,
life's game.
Yeah, but by the way, though, if you really like fireworks, take an old CD, wrap it in tinfoil, and then throw it in the microwave.
Ooh, there you go. That'll really
see that. So it's interesting that Sega's
don't do that.
recruiting.
Second that advice. Definitely don't do that.
Let's grab a safety warning, please.
Moving on.
So Sega
And
is
besides,
recruiting
babies make a
for
bigger
their
bang in a
new open
microwave.
world
Oh my
version.
God, Jack.
Oh, that's a
baby
burn.
hamsters. Their eyes pop first.
Well, as Ramila knows all about putting babies in the microwaves, doesn't he?
Right.
They taste great too.
So, how many people are fans of Sega in any of the Sega games?
Correct. Yeah.
It depends on what.
No, if you pay close attention to the Sega showcase recently, they're bringing back like old games like Jet Set Radio, freaking Virtua Fighter, Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, all sorts of crazy shit. So we got this little article here again from Bounding in the Comics, because why the hell not?
Sega game unless you have to pick it up and go. Be put
Right.
So apparently job postings confirm that Sega is recruiting for an open world, massively multiplayer Crazy Taxi game. I don't know how to feel about the open world thingy or multiplayer thing, but that's okay. Tomby gifted 5 Tomby memberships. Oh geez.
So it's going to be very interesting because
Thank you,
I
Tomby.
think
Sega. I can hear the
that
sound.
if they're going to pull this off, is it going to feel a lot like GTA in a way? If they're going to do this open world with the cars and taxi and multiplayer?
It's a good question.
I would think it would probably have to be set up at least like that kind of situation, because you actually can run some taxi missions in GTA Online as well.
Exactly. So you kind of have that kind of.
I could see that being kind of the foundation of it.
Probably the approach they're going to do. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I might have a bit of a hot take here. I'm not sure how hot it is, but I got to say, Crazy Taxi is one of those games for me that it's got a piece of nostalgia for me. But when I play it now, or anytime I have played it recently, I probably haven't played it in about 15 years, but I remember the last time I did play it, honestly playing for about 10, 15 minutes and kind of being like, this is kind of boring. Like the nostalgia of it, I think, stuck with me more than the gameplay. And that's what I think, because at an arcade, you're not sitting there playing it for hours like you would on a console at home. You get your little fun with it, and then you move on to the next game. It's one of those types. So I got to say, aside from the open world, thing that they're going for with this, I don't know that I'm that excited about it in general.
I don't know where they're going to take it. I just don't know where they're going to take an on-rails arcade game. Do you know what I mean? It's like you were saying, you stick in a quarter, and like you get so far, and then if you want to play a little bit further, you got to stick in another quarter. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What are they going to do with an open world Crazy Taxi? It is just literally going to be the same as any other open world.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because the last time.
Crazy
the last
Taxi
time I played it
used
was on the Sega Dreamcast, and it was a totally different game.
Yeah, it is. So the thing is with Crazy Taxi, it always was kind of open world-ish to a degree, because it was like a closed-off area. That's what Simpsons Road Rage did as well. They basically owned Crazy Taxi and then did the same fucking thing. Tomby, the crazy bastard, actually gifted 10 smooth.
Wow.
You crazy bastard. I'm going to get you for that one.
Yeah, you're going to get him because look who was second on the list.
Exactly. Brendan P., Abe, Natalie McBushy, Rick Cleary, The Heretical Nerd, Daily Dysfunction, Nick Brown, Hanayama-san. Oh, Jesus Christ. And Sonic Fighters. Oh, Dara, that's an excellent one. Anyway, Where was
I agree with Crimson. I think Simpsons hit and run. Oh, I just saw it disappear, but I think Simpsons hit and run was better than. Wait, was it hit and run or was it Road Rage?
Hit and run was the open world one. That was the open world one. They should fucking remaster
like that one more than Crazy
modern platforms. Bring that to modern platforms, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
like seriously.
Yeah, it was hit and run. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I like that one more.
My thing too is
Taxi.
with everybody doing the Beavis and Butthead thing. With that thing, I have a feeling they're going to put those characters in the new open world in Crazy Taxi.
They probably will. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering about is because if you have a bit of a fond memory of the game, you also associate the soundtrack with it. You had like the Offspring doing music for it, and all sorts of like punk bands that were around the era. So I'm curious if they will bring back the original music or bring back the artists to actually record new songs, or if they renew the licensing for that. The problem is it's going to be live service slop again. We know that for a fact.
Yeah,
that's the only heartbreaking thing about it, because Crazy Taxi used to be all about unlocking shit and like doing the arcade thing of going even crazier in the traffic and get your passengers from A to B the fastest way possible. That was the general idea. So, describing the upcoming Crazy Taxi game as the completely new, series producer Kenji Kano informed fans, we're currently fine-tuning the specifics and testing the game's compatibility with multiplayer play. Ooh. So they're saying they're testing it. It doesn't necessarily mean it will happen.
Right.
What chances are it might happen? Kano went on to say that the team is aiming to preserve the classic Crazy Taxi style while introducing new mechanics and features. To do this, the developers are creating a realistic city environment alongside the theme park-like map, with motifs inspired by the US West Coast. Shocking. Wonder if we get a Gavin Newsom cameo in that one as well. Or the shitting hobos in the street. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Notably, the series pivot to multiplayer was previously hinted at in the teaser video. Its content showing multiple taxis on the move. It also depicted a player driving a police car, suggesting that players are likely to be presented with a variety of gameplay modes and vehicle options with which to experience. How exactly the gameplay shift will work for the franchise is anyone's guess, especially fans. But at the very least, it is an interesting pivot for series fans that haven't seen it a lot in the last 20 years. 20 years.
You probably could the only thing you could do is like customize like your taxis, isn't it? Really, like you can turn up in like the Batmobile. That'd be something like that. Yeah, they're gonna skin it. There's gonna be them add-ons. Like you can do it. That's what they're gonna do. That's how they're gonna make money.
I have a feeling it's also. They're testing it, so it's gonna have a mix of Fortnite mixed in with it.
That would make sense. Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a Sega All-Star situation. So you're going to have Sonic and Knuckles in it.
Yeah, I could see
Tails
that.
will probably be there with the racing cars because of Sonic R, as Steve pointed out, and Dara as well. I can also see Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza series making a cameo in that game, or even the monkeys from Super Monkey Ball. Or something like that. You could make some crazy.
There's a huge library of characters that Sega pull that they have in their IP.
Easily, and it's even like the more prominent games, Dr. Eggman. Also, freaking what's it called again? The Persona games as well. You could even pull the Persona characters into Crazy Taxi if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you could. What was that one that? What was it? Blue Stinger. They could pull characters from that. And go, oh, this character, y'all remember this one? Or like, what is that? But see, but doing that too and having those characters, that's another thing. It like drives interest of the back catalog. Like, where did these characters come from? And then it'll pull, like, oh, I want to go play that character. And they're like, oh, I did this, and that's my favorite character. Now I can drive as that character in this game. It kind of merges worlds.
I think the problem for me when it comes to these characters coming in is that it's not so much like, a Fortnite or even like Super Smash Brothers where they have all these characters from different things where, Sonic might be in it, but at the end of the day, you're just going to be sitting in a car driving type of thing. It's not like you're going to be Sonic or you're just going to be in a car driving, making pit stops. So again, as cool as it would be to have all these characters and all that, I still am having a tough time getting by the idea that the gameplay itself just doesn't have enough to it for me to really sit there and sink hours into it. And that might just be a me thing or maybe just some people thing. But I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around what exactly is the differences they're going to make in this to make me excited about it.
Right. I'm with you on that because I'm a purist when it comes to games too. That would kind of mean like I would play it and be like, because I miss the old stuff, and I just go back and play the old stuff.
Right. Like I'd rather just fire up the original 2 Sonic games and just, you know what I mean, if I want to play a Sonic. So that's where it's kind of just I'm really struggling to I don't even know if I want to call it an excitement so much as interest, but I think my biggest interest in this announcement is what exactly are you going to change about the game to make it have legs, more than just like hearing that it's coming back or even the potential for characters or cost skins or things like that. Mm-hmm. It's more just like, what exactly is it that you're going to change? I think that's where my interest lies mostly now.
Yep. Going back to what we were saying about IPs that we like, Sega IPs that we like. Something that I would like to see on a more modern platform would be something like Road Rash.
Oh yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
It could work
like a 3D version of Altered Beast. Do you remember Altered Beast?
Oh yeah, that would be good too. That'd be great.
I would love Altered Beast. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, but also can we have a welfare check for Greg, because that's a long cup of tea.
He's probably going for a cigarette as well.
Yeah, he was trying all the different things in the microwave.
You can ask the lovely panelists themselves.
What burns next? He's got so excited, like, ooh.
So Weasel is asking the most important question here: does Jay or Hanayama struggle with the R's more?
What's an R? I'm not familiar. What are these R's you speak of? I'm not sure.
Reach harder.
Are you saying you don't have them, Jay?
As far as I know, it's AH every time. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Then you have the Irish too. They don't say R like we do. They say
sir.
See, and that's the funny thing, because I over here I can sit here and be like, das ist aber richtig. I can even roll it.
If it's at the beginning, I can give you an I. If it's anywhere in the middle of the end, no, you lost. I can say reading. There's an I.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah. I did. I missed that too. I didn't know they did a re-release.
Yeah. Okay, so Jay, you want to say that you don't so you want to say that you struggle with the R's at the end, like with the hammer.
Yeah, it'd be a hammer. Yep. Anything ER becomes AH.
Maybe I love it.
Water.
I love it. It's
so uncivilized. So uncivilized.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I must see nothing to that one, pal. I must see nothing to that one, pal.
Captain Gayhab.
Oh. Called me Ishmael.
Did he say hold me Ishmael?
I said called me Ishmael.
Oh, I thought you said hold me Ishmael. I'm like, wow, that went interesting.
This is the thing, apart from Greg's serious answer, there's another theory why Greg is taking so long.
What?
Perfect timing.
Rubbing 2 sticks together, starting a fire. You know.
Well,
but to be fair,
there was a lighter involved.
Yeah, but to be fair, we could also make a fucking new first-person shooter in Germany and call it Call of Duty.
Wow.
Apparently there was a new Road Rash game.
Top marks.
It was called Road Redemption.
Road Redemption. I'm gonna have to look that up and check that out.
I hadn't heard of that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. But yeah. Okay, since we were dwelling in nostalgia for way too long, let's go ahead.
What do you mean too long?
What?
Too long.
Never too long.
I would love I'm excited for the Shinobi game that's coming out. That's made by the team that did Streets of Rage 4.
Wow.
Which looks fucking excellent.
Ooh.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Sorry.
And of course,
Road Redemption is currently on sale for 20 hours. It's £2.30.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to check that out then.
Nice.
I might check that out myself. That's something I can afford. That is.
And Greg just sitting there like, boy. Easy money.
I've lost my Windows. Here we go.
Yeah, Streets of Rage was fun. Yeah.
Tommy's not here right now, but I think I actually gifted Streets of Rage 4 to him. And my initial idea was that we both get an arcade stick and play it together in co-op.
That would be
cool. The arcade sticks. So
how do you think that Golden Axe would fare?
Golden Axe has a decent chance. Golden Axe has a decent chance.
chance, but I'm skeptical because it has been done before and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, that when they did that revision, it just it didn't have the same feel. It didn't play the same way. They just tried to take it a different direction. It just failed miserably.
Logical Robot, considering Square Enix is actually doing a remaster of the original games, I think we might actually see a new fighting force in the near future. They're just testing the waters if people want to actually have a new one. It's the same with the Marvel vs. Capcom collection that is coming out. They're testing the waters, and if it's selling well, we might get Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
And I think it's really they're playing into this nostalgia of these games. They're really pushing that, and because people are really. We're in that state where we're cycling through. Look at it. Fashion is in nostalgia right now. Bell bottoms are coming back. The different, the popped collars are coming back. The things they had in the 60s and the 70s. And so fashion is doing so. Why couldn't the gaming do it too? And just play into that nostalgia and have that younger generation, see that.
So, bell bottoms can stay in nostalgia. They can
They tried to bring them back in like the 90s, didn't they?
Yeah,
I would love
the first time. Just give them a rest, for fuck's sake.
Same thing with jorts. Just let jorts go. Let them go.
Crimson is asking, how about a new Virtua Cop?
Oh,
what was you trying to say there, Yarnie?
Good game. Now you're touching me in the feels right there.
I was saying even our younger generations they're quote unquote nostalgic for things of our childhood and then older. Like they really want that older stuff because it's just better.
It's retro.
Yeah, it's better story, better gameplay. It just and it's also something they we'll talk about from time to time. They're like, "What are you talking about?" And then they experience it, and then they try to come back and they're like, "Oh, you're old. You know nothing about this game." It's like, "Oh, I know. I beat this game."
Yeah, exactly. And we saw people watching the original Star Trek. Like, come on.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off about N64 fucking Super Mario 64 speedrunners. Oh, you know nothing about this game. Motherfucker, I was playing this game. I beat this game whilst you was like
before
a glimmer in your fucking daddy's nutsack.
I agree with that entirely. I can't stand when they're doing all these little glitches that speed through the game. It's like, okay, congratulations. You watched the YouTube video and you figured out how to beat this game. I beat it the hard way 20 years ago. Give me a break.
Right.
If you want a good beat 'em up, side-scrolling beat 'em up, check out Dinosaurs and Cadillacs. That's another good.
Wow, that goes back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Jay, you know where my benchmark always sits when people be like, but you don't know gaming. I beat the original Ninja Gaiden unless you show me your record. Shut the fuck up.
Right?
Show me your credentials.
Right in this room.
And I know we probably touched upon this, or you probably touched upon this in the last episode about that woman who was complaining about the not being able to pause Elden Ring and children being a disability. I remember the days where I remember the days where you had to leave the console on. Right, and then go to school, and then hope that the power hadn't gone out. Yeah, by the time you got, or that your parents hadn't switched off the console because you couldn't save it. You literally couldn't save it. You had to pause it right in the middle of the fucking game, leave the console on, go do what it was that you were doing, and then come back because otherwise you had to restart the entire thing. I miss the days of like having 3 lives and then
I'm on the second cassette.
Exactly.
If it tunes up now, I'm going to be pissed. Always pencil at the ready.
Like, that's all you have. Unplug the signal from the TV, turn the TV off, so they thought that everything was shut down, and then hope they didn't recognize that the console was still running. Yeah.
I hope that it's not burning a hole in the carpet because it's overheating. Yep.
Right.
You guys remember writing down passwords for NES games, like the old Mega Man games?
Absolutely. Well, Shinobi did that on Shinobi on the Game Gear and Master System had a really good password system.
I mean, I was even that kid that had the Game Shark, Game Genie for the codes and everything like that, so you could get the extra stuff, extra lives. And I did all of that. What was that? Vaxanadu. How many people remember Vaxanadu on Nintendo on the original?
Name sounds incredibly
familiar.
That's
a long time ago.
Yeah. That's my.
I don't even remember that game.
It's a great game. Great game.
It's an obscure game, but it's great. Yeah.
Well, the Elden Ring thing also is a form of what she was asking for was a form of entitlement too. Because if people
Absolutely.
if people go into the game knowing that you're not going to be able to pause the game and they still play the game and they still complain about it, I'm sorry, you signed up for that rig.
Yeah, that game's not for you.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert: you can't even pause Call of Duty.
But here's the other thing with that though too is if you know that game, all you have to do is go back to a site of grace that's in a peaceful area. Put yourself there for 10, 20 minutes, whatever the hell it is you have to do, and go back to it. Like, it doesn't have a pause feature, but if you've played the game for more than 20 minutes, you know what you can do in that situation, which is, I mean, I think Tomby might have, or somebody, one of you guys said it great last week, which was, first of all, if your kid's awake, focus on your kid. You shouldn't be
exactly.
Let's just put that right out there in the first place.
It really comes down. It really comes down to time management,
right?
Ultimately,
and priorities. Honestly, and priority management. Put your kids first. Number one, no excuses. I'm sorry. That's just the way it has to be.
Maybe somebody else.
I don't even stream if I've got my daughter here.
Right. Fair enough.
Right.
But even beyond that, if you do have the opportunity because the kid's napping and you think, oh, I got an hour or two to play a game here. Kid, wakes up, out of nowhere a little bit, 5 minutes. You just got to kind of go calm him down, put him back to sleep. Go to a site of grace that's in Limgrave. Relax. You guys in the church of whatever it's called. Nothing's going to attack you. Go back there. Go take care of business. The kid goes back to sleep. Perfect. Go back. Go back to your character. Put him back wherever he was because there's this fast travel system that's great in that game. They got to fast travel every friggin' 20 feet, so it's not like you'll be far off from wherever you were.
Yep.
And go back and continue playing. That whole crying of I need this for first of all, calling children with disabilities is bizarre, but the crying.
But
of,
I'm
like,
guessing if you do die, I've not
entitled.
played the game, and there's more games like it. I'm guessing if you do die, you don't go back to level 0.
Right.
No, you lose your runes. Essentially the currency you're collecting.
Sorry,
they
kids
sit
crying,
pick them back up.
run, sort out. 20 minutes. Oh, I died. Shit happens.
It's
and my take on that too is if you're
crazy.
playing a game like that and you're complaining about that, get good.
Yeah, that too.
Get good.
Problem solving. Just
That's why I
like
never play 'em.
Tui and get good.
No, fair enough.
Just problem solving instead of turning to somebody else and fix it for me. I had an inconvenience. I need
Always looking for somebody else to fix your problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what up, Tommy? Come on.
But also, Zap, it's not even just that. It is a matter of always looking for somebody to fix your problem as entitlement, but it's also a problem of you're such a crybaby that you're making a problem out of nothing. You don't need the physical problem.
You're making a problem. You're creating a problem that doesn't exist.
Exactly. So it's like not only are you want somebody to fix the problem for you, you're creating it just so that you can have that complaint for somebody to do it for you. It's that level of entitlement.
No, but it's in her best interests to do that, to make up problems out of thin air, because otherwise she's out of a fucking job.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
she was. I believe she was like a former games.
She's got
former games.
Maybe
worked on games. I couldn't remember.
A while. She was at Inside Gaming when it changed to Funhouse at Rooster Teeth.
Was it the Alana?
She was at Alana, yeah. And the problem is what Alana is bringing up is not exactly a new issue for parents who do gaming,
right?
Because my parents used to play video games that I wasn't supposed to be watching, like the old Resident Evil games, because I was far too young for that. So every time I had to come into the room, they had to kind of try and pause the game, but sometimes there were games they couldn't fucking pause. So one of them had to hand the controller to the other one, so I was being taken out of the room.
Yeah.
The crazy idea is you shouldn't be playing games like Elden Ring when your kid is still awake. In the first place. Or because make sure your kid is not even around, and then you can play.
I mean, because honestly, you want to break that down. You want to break that down. It kind of violates COPPA.
It kind of does, yeah. Hey, Tina, how's it going?
I remember a while ago, maybe a couple of years ago, there was a streamer who got cancelled because he was playing a game, but he was having to take care of his kid at the same time. But because the kid kept sort of like talking and asking him questions, he just got frustrated with the game, but he completely took it out on the kid. Like he threw his fucking controller down. He started shouting at the kid, saying, you're fucking, you're interrupting me and you're distracting me and this and that. And this was on live stream. It's like, motherfucker, if you are that, if you are that bad at playing the game that you're going to take it out on your kid, one, I don't think you should have fucking kids, but two, maybe don't play the game whilst your kid's around.
Right.
So
it's really to their immaturity as well.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. And by the way, I got the funny one that we like. I didn't get to it last week because I forgot. But on the fucking Elden Ring situation with the you cannot pause the game. That's why these people are fucking tourists and scrubs because spoiler warning, there's a pause mod.
There's
literally a mod that allows you to just hit this escape if you play if you don't play online, and it just freezes the game. There's literally a mod for it.
If you're really good with computers, or if you know what you're doing with the computers, you just open up the task manager and pause the process.
Yes.
Yeah. That too.
Daily, I agree with this statement, but at the same time, I disagree.
That's basically.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
I agree with Grizzled Entertainment's comment as well.
Grizzled has an excellent comment as well. A true situational disability is having to take a leak or take a deuce in really bad tears of forming when you're in the middle of a blade.
Oh.
I had one or two instances of
having that twitch, that moment. You're like, come on.
Come on.
Where you're literally crayoning in your boxers.
No, because here's the thing. Why I agree with that statement, but I have also seen people resolve that issue because they were playing on a laptop and literally while gaming went to have a shit.
I mean, I don't want to derail the conversation, but have you heard about that woman in Germany who threw her newborn out of the window because she was scared that her career at Porsche was in jeopardy?
Yep.
Yes, I read about that. It's definitely in jeopardy now.
There was a woman. There was a woman that threw her newborn baby out of a window because she thought that the baby would jeopardize her career at Porsche. As an executive,
you did hear this, yes.
That's insane. That brings me back to this
just
comment
pure
that Daily
evil.
just made.
Yeah,
that's exactly the point where I agree with Daily.
Yep.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
If you're very career oriented, don't have fucking kids. Set up your fucking career to a point where it's actually okay for you to have kids, and then maybe consider it.
True, but that's also a double-edged sword right there because that can go back to the eugenics thing. So that's a double edged sword
right. Yeah. When you go to like trying to actually control it, then it's an issue.
Real quick. Wayfarer has an excellent situational disability as well. It's called work.
Right.
Yeah, Wayfarer.
Me too, Wayfarer.
Thank you.
Me too.
I appreciate that one, Wayfarer.
That woman was just such a perfect example of modern day entitlement mixed with just delusion, and I mean the whole complaint is ridiculous. It's self-centered, it's entitled, it's all that. But then to add the fact of calling having a child a disability, I mean, when you throw that, because if we just for a second take a look at a broader picture here, there are people who want nothing more than to be able to have their own children and can't for other medical reasons.
Exactly.
But to have the audacity to sit there and call it a disability because you want to play a fucking video game, get out of here.
Overlooking after
I'm
your
with you
kids.
100% on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get where she's coming from. She's trying to find this, I don't know, niche-y, cute way to label it or something. But yeah, I think that's such poor choice of words. Like you said,
it's it's in extreme poor taste.
Yeah, just fuck you, lady. Some of us really, really, really want kids, and you're calling them a disability. Like, I get it; it's hard. I was in.
Get on it, Mr. Yarnwich.
Whoa!
Poor thing. That's not what I meant to do. It wasn't my fault. This
like the mood a little bit after that baby throwing comment. I'll let
But I get it. I took care of kids for well over a decade and a half, and I understand as well as I can without actually having a kid myself. It's hard work. I can understand the thought behind calling it a situational disability or referring to kids as disabilities. I can understand where she's coming from, but Jay, exactly. I think it's a slap in the face and
just such a poor choice of words.
And
very, very poor choice of words.
Funny thing is,
just don't deserve to reproduce, in my opinion.
Funny thing is she was a player, a character in Cyberpunk. So Alana Pierce.
Yeah.
It was basic NPC. But it was basic NPC. But it was just an extra character.
Sounds like it matches her in real life. Then basic.
Perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, to lighten the mood a little bit, so Grizzled continues this comment from earlier. I tried tanking while having to do the same. Kind of lost it after All right. Okay.
Oh man.
Speaking of delusion.
Nothing like poo humor to lighten things up.
Nothing like a poo segue.
Good old toilet humor. Never lets you down.
Hey, we will always find shit. We will always find fucking.
Our favorite Lord of the Rings licensed show is returning. The Rings of Power.
Yeah.
The Rings of Piss.
So excited.
The Rings of Shite.
Yeah,
this is 5-season plan. Good luck with that.
It looks bad. I mean, everything about it does not speak quality.
No.
Apparently they've got the whole 5 seasons mapped out now.
Yeah,
right?
they're obliged. They are.
They're contractually obliged.
Yeah, their contract is they have to do 5 seasons minimum amount, and they have to play the Tolkien's estate so much money. So if they don't do it, they still have to pay. They can't pull out. This is 5 seasons, whatever done. So how bad,
no matter how bad they want to pull out, can't pull out.
They should pull out. It'd be filthy, but just do it. But I must say, this is something I didn't want to watch because it just looked horrid, like the season 1. But everybody I've spoke to who I kind of go off have said it's
Mongoose. What's going on?
So I've kind of I've stayed clear.
I would just call it crap. Let's be honest.
That's what it is. I mean,
shite. It's basically what it is.
See, that's interesting. If they're
all have not seen what we have seen.
You have not seen what we have seen.
I've not seen this shit, that's for sure.
Yeah,
well,
we have seen it. We have seen the horrors. We have seen the Rings of Piss season 1.
Jack, my butthole's not for viewing anyway, so that's
what?
You're the one who sent me all those photos.
Wow.
I actually have not seen season 1. I had no interest in watching any of this.
Don't save yourself.
Considered trying to catch up for YouTube, reviews' sake, but I just don't know that I can.
No, save yourselves. Don't.
What platform are they putting this on again? As well,
it's Amazon.
Amazon. That says enough.
The thing is, they did something I think they did something clever to inflate the numbers. Didn't they do like a special promotion around Christmas time to get Amazon Prime Plus or whatever? What gave you that? So and then they released it at the same time, so it looked like everybody subbed, but they were just trying to get free shipping for Christmas. And it's like, but what they've done, like I'm a bit young, like for Lord of the Rings. Like Greg was probably there when they were doing the bindings for the paper. But literally, I remember my granddad reading The Hobbit like that, and I remember all them books. But like, so The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and like that, and then going on. But this isn't Tolkien. This is a production company trying to do tick boxes whilst trying to promote an IP, ripping it apart. They should have done something very simple and kept the timeline. They needed the Rings of Power because people have had the rings.
Yeah, they're focusing on the rings too because it's like a wizard is never late. He always arrives when he's, They're like
it's just, they need something like they can't come away from like it's like with the Skywalker saga. They couldn't come away from it. They had to stick it because people have heard of this, and if they came away for it, it would have been for the heads, the executives, gone, "Oh, that's a bit of a risk. You're going to do a story out of this timeline, with the Silmarillion, take one of them chapters, run with that." But they didn't. They had to go into a little third chapter of something, whatever. They've always said an appendix or something, and it really is just been expanded to make a blur. But the problem with this is with always going to be Tolkien. It got chopped up. Too many people own different bits. Until it's together, they're going to mess it always up. So it's just ignore, read the books, enjoy the books.
The best thing to come out of this whole debacle is the reviews from the YouTubers.
Yes.
And I kind of
super
agree
fans.
Yeah, true. The ones that watched House of the Dragon over the series that they were supposed to be promoting as well. But Dispar's reviews of season 1 are so worth the treadmill sessions, but I about lost it at the awakening of Mount Doom and that bleeding pyroclastic foe. It's good you mentioned that, Tracy, because I actually have a perfect video for that. Hang on a second.
Oh no!
Don't they like? Isn't it like the origins of Mount Doom?
Yeah. Smoo actually just told me about this recently, and I was shocked that that's actually what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
so
hit the edit.
Let's just put the audio on. Just have a look at this.
Oh no, a volcano! Look at
this is an original scene from the show.
The ground is lava. Careful.
Wait for it. Wait for it. And that's how it should have ended.
Yes. Oh my God.
So like interestingly, what you were saying, Stasis, about me being there for the binding of the books isn't far off. Because Silmarillion was actually published for the first time in 1977 when I was 7 years old and playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with my brothers.
Oh, I love it.
Wow. Okay. So he was there.
There's
the receipt. There's the receipt.
That's awesome.
Not that this is the Silmarillion adapted.
Yeah, fair enough.
In no way the Silmarillion adapted.
Since I haven't actually seen the show and I don't have, I've seen a lot of the reviews, Disparu, Gary, as anybody who's talked about it. So I know generally kind of what they've done and how they've butchered it. I think at this point, what interests me the most is, and I think maybe Stasis, somebody alluded to this earlier, with the cost that they paid the Token Estate to actually have this. And the reason they're doing those 5 seasons is that because they've already paid X amount of billions to them. So it's either make it or not make it. You're still in the hole for that money.
Right.
My question
They've got to recoup it somehow.
Right. And it's not a cheap show from what I understand in terms of making. So my question is, at what point do they cut bait and say, dude, this show is crushing us financially extra because we're putting all these seasons into production, spending all this money, and it's not equating to any revenue on the other side of it. So is it season 2? Is it season 3?
I think it's going to be
or do they just
the end of season 3 and they're going to question season 4.
And that's what I'm thinking, Zap. My magic number is season 3. I think if they have a failure of 2 and another failure of 3, that's where they might say, look, this is costing us what, 225 million, whatever the hell it is.
They still have really
might
pointless.
Say, let's save it.
Yeah, really pointless episodes that are literally really cheap. One like in a couple of rooms to reduce the cost somehow to do that, and then they move on. So they tell every showrunner, 4 out of the 8 episodes have got to be in one room and really boring episodes to cut costs.
And I think they're following the method of three strikes you're out.
Right.
Yeah,
they're gonna try.
For me, 3 feels like I think 3 is going to be a very pivotal point for them, where it either becomes we're going to push through these last 2 seasons, or this has been such a financial disaster season to season on top of the billions we've already paid the Token Estate that let's just save, the $500 million or whatever it would be to make those last 2 seasons. Let's just save it and call it quits.
I think
that's where
the revenue is never late. It arrives precisely when it needs to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in their case, it ain't coming anytime soon.
Galadon raises an excellent point here. Star Trek Discovery somehow got 5 seasons.
Good point.
Star Trek Discovery did not cost $1 billion.
Right. No, I think that's where I wonder. The licensing just to even get it cost them so much that you're just already in such a significant financial.
It could never make a profit, could it?
Right. No, it almost it would have had to have been at the quality of the Peter Jackson trilogy.
Yeah. So it could have made a profit if they made movies.
Right.
If they got the rights and they had the full rights, and then they got Peter Jackson and the original team to make a second age series of movies, and they could
cherry talking
stories for the various bits, or they could make 2 trilogies out of the best 2 bits of the Silmarillion or whatever.
Just to go back to Disco, Star Trek Discovery, it might not have cost $1 billion, but it definitely cost 1 billion brain cells.
Yeah,
to make.
It is a good one.
To your point, Greg, I do agree with that concept of, it would have had to have been of that quality. It would have most likely had to have been movies to really make any money, because streaming service shows really aren't making money. Let's just be honest.
No, they're not. No.
At least as much as we're seeing, we're not really seeing anything be a financial hit. Even the good ones for this point, because
any of the streaming services
out
profitable.
So much bad, right? Because these services crank out so much, it's like a net negative. So even if this show quality wise was as good as the Peter Jackson original trilogy, hell, even as good as the Hobbit trilogy, which is obviously, in my opinion, significantly less,
but
not bad, but not as
good
as the original. Right. Compared to this, it might as well be the original trilogy. But even if it was that, it's like you're still not going to make your money because this is a streaming service show. So you
but
never
also,
stood any chance of making money on this product.
But also, the executives must, across the board, must have known season 1 was a failure, because didn't Warner Brothers come out after season 1 and said, "Hi, the war in the Mahiran."
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that now.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, that sounds better than this crap. Like,
I think that was in development already, but
but they announced it, didn't they? They waited and waited and went, "There you go."
Announced Peter Jackson's involvement, I think, in what they're going to do over there as well.
Yeah, you've only got to say Peter Jackson, like, oh, he's involved. He probably just turned up on like set, and like, that's an involvement sometimes. But if they sat down and went, "Oh, we consulted," then that might be different. You know, like like
let's continue on so we don't derail the whole thing.
Do we have to?
Elsa has an excellent quote here. The failure of one, the failure of two, the failure of many. Which be the tagline of Rings of Power season 2, actually.
I think they'll go all the way. I think they'll do all 5 seasons.
Part of me thinks out of pure stubbornness, they might, to be honest with you.
So the showrunners,
I mean, Amazon has the funds, so you know,
it's true. It's true.
So
I think it's a vanity project for Jeff Bezos, really.
It is. Yeah.
You know,
he's not CEO.
And so he's probably said to them, "Look, I want you to make a really cool series. We can put it on my platform when it's done, but don't worry about how much it costs, because I'm fucking loaded. I've got $1 trillion company. I spend more than this poxy TV show on sending a couple of my buddies into near Earth orbit for a couple of hours or whatever."
Money means nothing to him.
I've got a rocket the shape of a dick. I don't care about how much this poxy TV series costs you to make. Just make the fucking show, because my kid.
I got a flying mushroom tip, motherfucker.
And that's definitely part of it, because even if you look at us as nerds in a much smaller scale of personal wealth, for sure, than him. You know, we buy these things, you know, we buy these collectibles, we buy these things, and we can't wait to show it off to one another. Oh, look what I bought. I bought an original.
You're not seeing my rocket
from the from the Lord of the Rings trilogy and all these kind of things. Like, we love that kind of stuff. So imagine being in his shoes and being able to say, "Yeah, well, I own part of the Silmarillion." And it's like, well, yeah, you do, but you butchered it. But it's definitely a bit of a vanity thing, 100%. I mean, it just has to be able to say, "I own a portion of Lord of the Rings."
By last week's conversation.
You both
what is it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we do. We buy things like that because we love it.
Ooh.
Oh,
brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's Sean Patrick Flannery, isn't it?
Yep.
Of the whole thing.
Hell yeah.
Ooh. All right, let's actually get into
I
the
think I got them, and what's it, the fate of the Atlantis.
Okay, so John has to bounce. John Ricious, thank you for stopping by.
Take care, John.
See you on the Badger Cast, mate. See you on the Badger Cast. Okay, so let's get into the article. The showrunners were asked about their long-term and short-term plans for Rings of Power, and if whether or not they were in the process of plotting the story through all 5 seasons. The answer is yes. There's a long-term plan with tentpole moments along the way and a very specific, clear endpoint. And that goes not just for this big narrative plot lore of things, but also character arcs. So you mean call center Sauron is not the main villain? That's disappointing.
Wait,
call center Sauron.
Gasp them and gasp.
I mean, he continued, but if you want to leave enough wiggle room along the way for discovery or for the surprise and for taking advantage of the unexpected things that you discover along the way, money, like, you know, actors who have great chemistry or an actor who has a great color, fuck you, racist piece of shit, can play that you didn't know. And then, wait a minute. How do we have to weave that in here and take the advantage of it? That sounds like you don't have a clue what you're fucking saying. That's a showrunner who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Absolute gobbledygook bullshit.
It's like making up excuses like, yeah, guys, we're going to make the story, but we have to, you know, think about that a little bit too hard because that's winter fun rubbing together.
That sounds very like contractual and PR driven. The whole statement.
That's corporate speech right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's boilerplate. Absolutely, I agree.
And the best thing is this quote over here. And again, just searching for the opportunities for delight, always within a general trajectory that has clear markers along the way. What does that even mean?
I literally was just
going to say,
anything. What on earth does that even mean?
It means nothing.
What does that mean?
It is literally that is a British politician from the 80s. That is literally what the fuck you saying?
It sounds like it was written by a fucking spirit box.
Yeah.
it's saying a lot while saying nothing at all. It's all.
So, yeah.
The thing is, like, when the executives
empty
talk,
words.
you know they're talking out shit. I remember when they first come out and said Andor's 5 seasons, and then halfway through season 1, they blamed that it's only going to go for 2 seasons because what's his name, Diego, is feeling stressed.
Yeah, Diego Luna will not
like
last.
really. Yeah, no, I think you're being yeah. It's just like the numbers won't show, but like I'm sure Amazon don't even publish their numbers still. They've still got full control. They can say whatever they like. This show is great. This show's not great. It's like they butcher most things. Like this has been butchered. The Boys have been butchered. Yeah, good season 1, probably half or 2. That's now just a piece of crap. Like they've got a way of like literally putting stuff on their platform when it's like what's that one about the Clarksons? The farm one. People like it. Yeah. And they've got that and it's got the show. And people really like it. I've not seen it yet, but people really like it. And that's the stuff people like on that platform. But as soon as it gets really, really popular, they seem to fuck it up. It's very bizarre what Amazon do. They like either go, "Oh, now people are looking at it. We've got to interject something," and they just always mess it up. So this is going to be more of the same people that people don't like. Hey, the Beast.
Brother.
Like the Beast.
Not a lot of the Lord of the Rings, young indie. Yeah, exactly. So we were speculating about the budget and I actually found a little segment in here. The Rings of Power is the most expensive show yet for Amazon Prime Video, with the first season alone reportedly costing the stream of $465 million. Director J. Bayona previously stated that the prequel series is so expensive more like, that it cannot even be considered television. No shit, Sherlock. The Rings of Power is not television.
Mate, it's the writing.
How many episodes? I say that. How many episodes?
6, 7? I don't know.
Yeah. So on top of it, and was it done in the UK? And they could get a UK tax write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably overspent on that. So that's you're looking probably 600, probably if that's the final number.
Right.
So yeah. So per episode,
$500 million down the drain.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, they can afford that. It could have been good. It could have been so good.
It could have been. Yeah. That's the problem. This is the problem. Like when people moan like us. This is shit. Yeah, that's what most of like we're seeing at the moment. Discovery was just there. You've talked about the Acolyte, this and all that. We want it to be good, and that's the problem. Like they don't realize. I want like I've just bought like a I think it was £130 a deluxe edition Judge Dredd 2000 AD like art book.
Nice,
because I'm going to buy that shit. If you make this stuff good, I will put my money in my pocket to buy good content. Yeah, but now nobody's buying it. And like, if you go with like this merchant, like any of these franchises, the IP was made with the geeks, the nerds, putting their money. I want to invest. I want to play the game. I want to buy the book. There's a bloody comic out. I want that. Oh my god, little figurine. Blah blah blah. Oh, McDonald's is doing a Happy Meal with R2D2 in. I need to go there. I need to buy that crap.
And we
funded that.
Yeah.
Now,
and I agree with you too, Stasis, because of the simple fact they're missing the point as far as giving the consumer the respect they deserve of great content and good art.
Yeah,
they're robbing them of that.
No, absolutely, and that's why
inflating the costs of the things that they're selling us,
right?
As well, so nothing's getting cheaper.
And like Stasis pointed out, I mean, this is what I get annoyed with. As it always annoyed me being a fan of YouTubers, like Gary and Az and everybody, when they would catch that kind of flack of, oh, you guys just hate everything. You love to hate things. You love to hate things. It's like, now that I'm actually doing it myself, I realize it more too. It's like, no, I really don't. I would so much rather talk about good Star Wars, like a good new Star Wars show, a good new Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power, whatever the hell they want to call it, a good new show based off this, based off anything from Lord of the Rings. It would be so much more fun. Hell, Stasis and I did a stream a few weeks ago talking about the Acolyte, where the most enjoyable parts about it was when we were talking about George's versions of Star Wars and where it used to be so good and how it's different. Talking about the fun parts of this stuff is so much better. It's so much more fun. And the idea that people would prefer to just come on here and be negative and hate things just because I want to hate things really just drives me nuts, because you can even see it when it's other streamers, when it's like yesterday, I did a stream with Nerdy Neo and a few other guys where we talked about our favorite summer blockbusters. We went for like 3. Yep, shout out Nerdy Neo, great guy. We went on for like 3 hours just talking about our favorite summer blockbusters, and it was a blast. Way more fun than having to sit here, you know, in the open. Not and nothing against the stream or anything, but I enjoyed that more than our opening segment of talking about the Acolyte, because I just got more and more frustrated reliving that episode
painful.
in the series.
That's
why I enjoy talking to everybody here, but the topic of that is not a fun one to talk about.
But look how well like received Dune was. Dune to me, like even 1 and 2, is mid. They're mid movies. They are like, oh my god, they are brilliant. But everybody was like, oh my god, I really thank you. Literally, that is amazing. Thank you, because we're looking for something just a little bit good, like Reacher.
Anything
isn't great, but everybody reached it. It was like reach the Reacher, and was like, oh my god, everybody go like Tulsa King. Like everybody was like rushing to it. Like you've got to see something. Like they are like they're not tier bar. They're not like a Breaking Bad. They're not like up there. They're just like mid level. But we're getting so much shit at the moment. Like that's what we're going for. So anything above that level, let's look forward to it.
Real quick, Dara has to go, so I just want to give him the platform so he can plug his stuff. So we can leave accordingly. Yay. So I'm gonna just blow you up, sir. So plug away, sir.
Oh, I didn't give you any of my links, did I? Oh, darn it!
No, you didn't.
Can I post it in the chat or no?
Yeah,
I got my link tree. Hold on, let me give you 1 second. I got my link tree, so I'm posting my link tree, and that will take
any of the chats, mate. Any of the chats, mate.
Okay. So I'm posting my link tree in the chat. There you go.
Right.
So you guys can find me on that link chat. Oh, the comment has failed to post. Oh, darn it.
It's here.
Oh, there. Okay, I see it. But anyway, yes, go to my link tree. You can follow me there. I stream to both YouTube and Rumble, because I'm not going to do one platform.
Rumble.
Yeah, but I stream to both YouTube and Rumble. My show is starting in like an hour, so I will be having on a gentleman I've had on before, LJFG. He makes thumbnails for Valorant? Valorant, yeah. He made, and another person as well. I can't remember, but anyway, guys, I am going to take some time before then because obviously it's like in an hour. But anyway, thank you so much. It's my first time being on here. Look, all my shows about is I talk to other people about whatever. Look, I've had there are 3 people on this panel I've already had: Yarnwich, Jack Tarled. So many times, and then Jack Tarled's been like 7 times.
That sounded like one time too many, almost.
There
are fun times, and there are like, dude, I gotta get back to work. No, anyway, no, it's always fun though. It's always fun. He's like a bigger brother. But anyway, you being here, no, thank you. And I know, Tomby asked me a while back, I think for June, but I work. Yeah. And the timing just didn't do right, but no, I was glad to be able to. Yeah, I do a full-time job, but I enjoy doing what I do for Dare Chat more because it allows me to connect with so many people, and you'd be surprised at the conversations you have when it's free flowing. So, and Jack's been on 7 times. He could tell you. I have 3 people.
I've been right on it 7 times.
Is that with the olive oil?
Well, that was with one, yes, but he was telling it like it is. So, but no, I thank you so much for having me on, and I know Tommy's here. I know Tommy's not here, but again, I invite just about anyone on. So anyone else on here, you are welcome to. But July is full. That's 4 months.
Nice.
That's 4 months with people. Nice. So I probably had about. I'm still trying to do the templates because I make the thumbnails. I probably have talked a little more around 60 to 65 different people at this point. So
wow,
that's a lot of people. That's awesome. But anyway, I won't take any more of your time. You guys enjoy the rest of the show. I'm going to get off and arrivederci.
Do your thing.
See you later.
Right, Dara, move.
And I'm going to take this opportunity as well. I've got a dip as well, even though I didn't put it in the private chat, but I've actually got a dip as well. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been great to see you. Thanks for having me again. I'm always here on a Wednesday, or at least usually. Come and check my channel out. You can go to my Twitter bio at Jack Tarlad on Twitter. I've got my link tree there. You can go and check all my links out. I'm currently producing for Rogues Gallery on a Friday night with Iron Oxide, so go and check us out on a Friday night. But we're taking a week off this week. Yeah, that's about it. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you soon. See you next week, most likely.
See you, Jack.
Thanks,
guys.
Bye. So let's check.
Right, that is suspicious. We didn't
both leave at the same time.
In the same room, same time. Could have been in just the.
It's because Jack's going on.
Olive oil. No, he said, olive oil. That came up. Look, there you go. He's got excited, hasn't he? He's there you go. They're literally now slapping it on.
Right. I don't want to take out the energy too much, but we got one more topic I wanted to talk about, and it's actually the downfall of
yes.
Link now.
Yeah,
the downfall of Kotaku. That's what
I kind of wish we
I got a little stroke there. It's okay. Don't worry about me. I have basic reading comprehension problems sometimes. Right. Okay. So this comes from The Guardian. Believe it or not, the best of journalism.
Legit, I've never heard Hana so giddy before.
That's bliss, my friends. So, in case you haven't heard, Vice Kotaku Refinery 21 to no longer publish in Australia after pedestrian group announces restructure. Imagine my shock. No. Kotaku shutting down in Australia?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's the meme.
That goes in that same category. So, dozens of jobs to be cut as the Nine-owned media company announces a plan to stop licensing overseas titles and focus on wholly owned brands. Where did we have that one before? So
that sounds like they're hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, it does kind of, right? Imagine
they're on. That literally says we're on life support.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh no! It's no. This is actually worse. They are no longer on life support. They are on a fucking.
They're basically on auction on the auction block and for any of the takers. That's sad.
Oh no! Even better. Take what life support is. Like take the idea of what life support is, and now shrink it down to like an old fucking battery powered radio.
Wow, that is bad.
So yes,
that is horrible. So,
it's funny.
Websites
for any tech company. That's just ugh.
But it's Kotaku, so who cares?
But
tech and culture news websites, including Vice, Gizmodo, Refinery 29, Kotaku, and Lifehacker, will no longer publish in Australia, with dozens of jobs to be cut as the pedestrian group undergoes restructuring and cost cutting. The company, which is owned by Nine, licenses the brands to republish in Australia, as well as producing their own local content under the same banner. Pedestrian took control of the long-standing publications as part of the merger between Nine and Fairfax in 2019. Staff were informed on Monday in an email from the CEO of the Pedestrian Group that despite Pedestrian Group being a highly successful business, I call bullshit on that one, the company had decided to end its use of brand licenses and focus on wholly owned brands, including Pedestrian. Yeah, I don't know about that one. He blamed the license partners facing financial headwinds and corporate instability, as well as the decline in the broader advertising market and the growth of TikTok, Instagram as part of the decision. Where's YouTube?
Where's YouTube? You want to blame TikTok and Instagram for your failure?
Yes.
It's okay. Not mine.
Yes,
it's China's fault.
Let's blame Russia while we're at it. Well, let's blame Russia. So
it's those damn commie spies.
It has nothing to do with
I know. It was COVID.
Nothing to do with the CTO at all.
COVID did it.
COVID,
because they didn't. Mask mandates. That's what happened.
Yes.
That's 100%.
So no. It was because they're shit.
No, it's because of long COVID now. Long COVID. That's the new one.
Long post-COVID.
So,
So Nine reported pedestrian employs about 95 staff with up to 40 jobs to go as a result of the change, with some potentially redeployed. It says the cuts were on top of 90 jobs to go from Nine's publishing division announced last month. So it was a tough decision, yada, yada, yada. The shuttering of the local operations of Gizmodo, Kotaku, and Lifehacker follows the shutdown of local versions of tech rival sites ZDNet, CNET, and GameSpot. Good fucking riddance to GameSpot, but
ZDNet and CNET.
CNET is okay.
CNET is 50-50.
ZDNet and CNET. CNET is hit and miss. They have some good articles in there, but they're
used to be much better.
They can't afford the internet, so they will be using smoke signals. Yeah, no, right?
Wow.
In terms of Kotaku, Ten's affected exactly. In terms of Kotaku, this is a perfect case of the scene from Joker, where it's you get what you fucking deserve kind of thing. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This company, you know, as far as I've been aware of them, I don't know if they had a different past, different history in their like origins coming up, but as far as I've been aware of them the past few years, they've just been a nasty, divisive company in terms of their articles. They sit firmly entrenched on one side of the political aisle.
Absolutely.
They not only just try to, you know, it's not like they just have opinions from that side of things. They are incredibly nasty with the articles that they write. They tell people how bad they are, how awful they are if they don't agree with you. Then they decided to push this, what's her name, Alyssa, whatever, to be their poster child of kind of the face of the company. Maybe she did that on her own. I don't know, but they don't seem to be telling her to, you know, kind of tone it back a bit at all. She's challenging people to fights and all this nasty stuff she's saying. And I get it. The internet's a nasty place. I'm not saying everybody, that's all, you know, you have to be all clean and proper and all this stuff. If you want to be nasty and sling mud, be my guest. Go ahead. Like, that's your prerogative. You do you. But when this happens because of it, don't come back and look for sympathy, because nobody's going to have it for you.
Yeah. And it's gaslighting at its finest.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the funny thing is, on the downfall of Kotaku, like, praise it be, because like the history of Kotaku has been one of being mid, like lower mid game journalist at best at their height. And currently, like, they have been shit for around 15 to maybe 18 years. They have not posted anything of worth. They are just as useless as the fucking Polygon. If Kotaku, if Kotaku, Polygon, and here's the thing: if Kotaku, Polygon, and IGN all go out of business before I die, I will die a happy man. That's all I want out of life, is to see these chuckle fucks go fucking down in flames, because they fucking suck. None of them can write. Like, the last 3 articles, which, by the way, which is a fun one. If you go to Kotaku, search for the last 3 game reviews that they did. All of them at least have 11 typos if they have not been edited yet. These motherfuckers can't spell, they can't write, they can't read, they can't play video games, they suck at life, and all they have to, and the entire time they have, is to sit on Twitter and fucking cry about everything, like everybody's favorite darling, Alyssa McCunty. And because she fucking sucks, she can't even take criticism worth for shit, because she's a fucking thin-skinned bitch.
Yes.
So who cares? It's a bunch of assholes at Kotaku. It's a bunch of idiots working at fucking Polygon, and a bunch of retards working at IGN. It's
also, they're in a dying media. That's the problem as well. They're trying to give a face to give a I suppose sponsorship to whatever they're doing. But most gamers already go, ooh, I've researched, I like it. Or they have watched a streamer and go, that game looked interesting. You know, even if you're not in house of it, you're showing your face, you know, you're sitting at home or whatever, you're going to take that opinion. If I pick up a game and go, oh my God, that was crap. You know, my God, I played a game the other day. I really look forward to it. It was a Western game. Oh my, it was horrid. Absolutely horrid. So probably I had a couple of people probably, you know, went, no, I'm not going to do it. But the bigger guys, you know, who probably, you know, aren't going to get paid as much money as, you know, these people throwing their face forward. People are going to take that opinion, because if you're real, people are going to actually realize your opinion is actually matters. These people are fake. It's clickbait. They're pushing this narrative that most people go, look, we're talking about gaming. What the hell does bloody political values matter?
Right.
You know,
people are starting to see what's they're starting to see what's genuine and what's not.
Yes,
it's like Disney. Disney think their audience are dumb. These people think their audience are dumb,
absolutely.
And they play to it. That's it.
And
what are you talking about?
And the funny thing is, as a gamer, you already know what to think about a fucking Kotaku article if the first headline, like not the first headline, but the first paragraph with like fucking Hogwarts Legacy. The first paragraph started with a political disclaimer. The first paragraph on their Stellar Blade review started with a political disclaimer. You immediately close the fucking article and go somewhere else.
Tomb Raider remasters
started with a political fucking paragraph.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider remasters have the same thing.
So
writers who can't use spell check and editors are more concerned with the message than correcting their writers. Yeah, I mean, crazy idea, right? I remember when I think it was GameSpot when they made a review of Days Gone.
Yes,
it was I think it was Kelly Plagge at the time. She's infamous for the too much water complaint at IGN back in the day for Pokemon. who deducted half a point of a Pokemon game because there was too much fucking water in it. Believe it or not. So she was tasked to review Days Gone, which in my opinion is an excellent zombie survival game with a motorcycle mechanic that is criminally underused in my opinion. Yep. And also a hold mechanic that is pretty good. And
I've got a friend who absolutely loves that game.
It's a pretty damn good game. I love it.
You have friends?
Yeah, what? Shocking, I know.
Yeah, she's got a puncher at the moment though.
They'll use some hakua, right? But yeah, the thing is,
he doesn't have friends. He has Abe in his basement.
She was tasked with reviewing the game. Reviewing the game. There's a flashback scene between the protagonist and his wife in the game, and he's basically standing at a lake with a bike, and she's reaching down, undressing a jacket, and he stares at her butt. Okay, nothing. I mean, it's normal to look at your significant other's body parts if you're into that kind of stuff. So
I'm offended when my husband doesn't look at my butt. Just want that note.
Like, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Love it. Stiggly, look at it.
Wow. Admire it.
I'm scared. I will.
Makes me bring up Only the Squirrel, you know.
The main complaint about the game was that it's misogynistic because the protagonist was actually looking at his significant other's ass. And then to top it all off, although it is literally explained in the fucking game, she's complaining that all the zombies are white.
Oh my
God.
Even though it is explained in the fucking game where every zombie is white. I'll give you a slight spoiler if you don't want to listen to it, then just mute me for 5 seconds. Basically, the idea is that there's a mutation going on within the genomes of the human body that turn the skin white. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Like
It is literally explained in the plot. And yet she was still complaining that all the zombies were white people. That was in 2019. And that game was
took the snippets, so somebody played it and took snippets, and then that's it for her. It sounds like they didn't actually. She didn't play the game. Yeah, it's like
it seems that way, yeah.
Here's the 10-minute bits, and here's what you can actually write about, because the rest you can't write about. So it's a good game. Can't have say it's going to be a good game.
Right, and they're missing the thing too. It's like what makes the your skin have color is blood. If it's coagulated and there's no oxygen, your melanin is going to change to it's going to disappear.
It makes sense.
Indeed.
Come on.
What really grits my shit was there was one line.
I don't know if I can get more whiter.
One line in the game
already.
There's one line in the game where he says something along the lines of, "I'm going to ride you like my motorcycle" to her.
Wow.
Before they get married. So.
Yeah, but they're in a relationship,
right? You're in a healthy relationship.
It's fully tongue in cheek.
My wife has said nastier things to me than that. Jesus Christ!
It's really been your wife for a couple of days, mate. I mean, hang on.
My wife.
She moves fast. She doesn't waste any time.
Let's go.
So that was a nice roundup. So good fucking riddance, Kotaku. Nobody's gonna fucking miss you. I hope you're gonna go out of business.
I actually have a question for everyone because I grew up I'm born in '92, so I know I'm a little younger than some, but not much. But in terms of like so in terms of like gaming media, because I know like Nintendo Power used to be a big thing in that era of the 80s and all that. But in terms of gaming media, me coming up, there was G4, the original G4, obviously, which was really big, and that was fantastic.
With Adam Sessler.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, when he wasn't whatever he's doing now. But yeah, it was a big thing, all those guys that, those guys and gals that were on those shows. That was fun. Cheat with Corey, whatever his name was. Used to love all that stuff. But in terms of like these magazines, because, magazines, or even, when they became sites and moved towards that, IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, like even here in Hana, say that Kotaku's been bad for 15 years, whatever it was. It surprises me because I feel like coming up, I don't remember ever looking to these companies for any kind of knowledge on like when was their heyday. Did you guys use them a lot for anything? I just remember being G4 to YouTube essentially when it came to
Kotaku,
looking for stuff.
Kotaku. I first heard of Kotaku when those spoof signs were put up a few years ago at the convention back over in America. and it was the 404 era for the Kotaku's journalistic integrity panel. And that was the first time I ever heard of the website, and ever since then I've never looked at any of their articles. But ever since I first heard of them, they've just come back like a bad smell from a stinky drain that just won't go away, like in a house where you've got 4 or 5 dead rats in the walls as well.
Here's a question. Somebody can have a look right now. Do they have Google ads on their website? Do they actually do pop-up ads?
I wouldn't even know. I've never ventured to it. IGN.
I wonder if it is for clickbait. Say what you want to say just to get that Google ad click.
Yeah, so just in terms of fucking Kotaku, like they have been, at least online, they have been around since like 2004, and I have first
they've been around long.
Yeah, I have first found them in like, I want to say 2006 ish, and it was more by accident because I was on one of these one of our sites, and Smooth, you might remember, on the site of Giga Games.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, and it was literally a fucking banner ad. It was a banner ad for Kotaku Games Media.
Yeah, I just have no history. Like even IGN, I've always known of IGN, and I know their YouTube channel's always doing reviews and stuff, but I never watched their stuff. Like I've never. I guess I'm curious to see, because obviously this is a major downfall for all of them. They all seem to be falling at the wayside for the most part here. Maybe IGN's still doing all right. I have no idea, but a lot of these
no.
Yeah, so it seems like this is looking like it's the beginning of the end, or if not already kind of in the middle of the end for all these types of sites and these companies. And to me, I keep wondering, when the hell was their prime? Like when was their glory days? Because I've grew up in this time of, from the TV cable show of G4 into the real switch to internet. And I can't remember them ever being, and I've been a gamer my entire life. I can't remember them ever being relevant to me.
Yeah. No. Okay. So here's the thing. So I can answer that for you, Jay. The heyday for Kotaku was literally never. They had no heyday. The heyday for Polygon was specifically for games was between like 2008 to like 2012 ish, and IGN's heyday was back in the day when they were owned and operated as normal people, as a site for movie reviews.
Exactly. That was their first. That was their first start. Yeah.
No kidding.
That's how they started, and they dipped into gaming because gaming is popular, and then had gaming be reviewed by a bunch of brainless idiots.
So were they still IGN then? Because isn't it, what is it, International Gaming News? I've always assumed that's what it stands for. What does IGN even stand for? Is that what I've always wondered? Because so were they IGN even when they were doing movies? I might have just made up the name for them, to be honest with you. I just always assumed it was like International Gaming News or something.
But the problem with all these brands, if we have to say, is they are scared because they are losing money. Most of them are losing money if you don't like the care well, because the voice they don't want to hear from is our voices. The people who have a camera, have a mic, can actually give their opinion because it differs. It's like the newspaper media. When like internet started taking off, they didn't. They were like, oh, it's just a fad. They didn't realize, oh, hold it. People can give their opinions on them. They can give the written word on them. Now, if you are popular, or even if you have that one popular take, you can actually give your voice. That is different to what they are saying. That is what they're scared of. They aren't, the money isn't there. They are scared that you have that opinion, that you are taking that click away from them. If it's now, that's why they always, I hate to say it, like across the pond, they always now have that divide. If you have a different opinion, oh my God, you're right wing. If you have that opinion, it's because you're left wing. What? I'm just giving my opinion. That is the problem. Like we've had that like slightly in the UK, in France, it's going up right at the moment, but we have that across the world. And it is because they are scared that you can now have the ability quite easy, quite cheaply, is to put yourself on the internet and actually not just like give you your opinion, but if you're quite good at it, you can actually start making a little bit of decent money. What takes the dollar away from them because they want that clickbait, because they want their algorithm up there. That's the problem.
And the thing with IGN is Like before they started to do just basic plain reviews, the thing they used to be really good at was specifically over here, and Smooth, you might remember the old games magazines that we had from like PC Power and shit. You had the IGN walkthrough guides for like
exactly.
Raider and shit. Like that's where they were good.
And they had the ones that they would say they were unlicensed, or they would put this like red banded, you have to get this book, but it would like, give you full screenshots of how to get through a level. And they'd show you those. Those were good. That was quality. That's what we wanted, not what the other stuff they were giving us.
But now look at it. They can't tell that because a YouTuber, Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
They could. You could literally. Here's a walkthrough of my favorite game. Boom. Now they can't.
And most people got the game through the cheat codes too.
And they haven't realized the popularity of, me talking. Whoever your favorite YouTuber is more popular than their 10,000 staff or whatever it is. Then
on a bigger platform, it's also hosted on a bigger platform with a bigger reach than all of the other streaming platforms added together.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's true.
And
that's why,
people are saying,
I'm not an advocate. I don't watch Friday Night Tights things, but we've all heard of them. Yeah, their reach scares people because their reach is impressive. Week upon week, and they will have a say. So that say so will hurt these other companies because they don't get that reach. They don't get that internet hit. They don't get them people watching for 30 minutes. They're going to get a click, 2 minutes off. That isn't going to give them the revenue that these YouTubers that apparently are nobodies that are in front of their camera in a geek dome, can do because the technology. And this is why they all heard about AI. All this video software systems that we can do, music softwares, because it only people it benefits is us.
It's them.
And it hurts them because it gives us the ability to make it look more professional, to make it look more good. Because the mic costs are coming down, the camera costs are coming down, the lighting costs are coming down, computer systems are coming down. Sorry, you run out of people to hold on to. And the younger generation, they don't give a shit about it.
And the chronological downfall, like where IGN literally became a fucking joke, is when in 2014 they had a licensed game which is Rambo the video game. One of, if not the worst game of 2014, easily. And IGN, and this is also where the IGN meme was born, still reviewed it and rated it a 7 out of 10. The worst game of 2014, and that's why and this is the IGN, like the start of the IGN joke. You see IGN rates something 7 out of 10, you immediately know it's dog shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they rated Rambo the video game, a game that is so pathetically bad and fucking shit, a 7 out of 10 because look, it's Rambo. No, it's not Rambo. It's in the year of 2014, they released a poorly designed, poorly voice acted, poorly sounding rail shooter where you never even walk. You don't take a single step. You move on an automatic rail and just go into cover and shoot at people and have a weird fucking reload mechanic where if you hit the button to reload at the exact perfect timing, you slightly reload faster and you play through all 3 movies. And they didn't have voice acting. They had
stole
designed voice acting, and they literally took clips from the movies and cut them out and repurposed them for the fucking game. 7 out of 10 by IGN. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
All right. On that note, rest in peace, Kotaku. You won't be missed.
No.
So I just want to say this real quick. So thank you very much for everybody on the panel hanging out with us today. I want to give this stage to Major Zap because he has something to announce, and I'm going to share a specific website in a moment. So Major Zap, take it away.
I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel for having me again on Chinwag. It's an absolute pleasure to hear your opinions. Let me speak my opinions, get the word out to the community, to the gamers, to the fans of videos, and kind of let them know, hey, what is your opinion? This stuff is crazy. It's insane. But right now, we're going to move on to something a little bit more positive. I am an ambassador for Extra Life. It is a charity that we do tabletop gaming as well as video games, card games, and all that. And we raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. And all of the funds that we raise when we play video games, tabletop games, and then we go door to door and do canvassing, all of that. Thank you so much. You put the page up right there. This is something I'm super passionate about. I mean, we get to play video games and we fight the bosses and we fight these demons and stuff like that. But then think about, what the money goes to. Here's what the money goes to. It goes to research and then study for the doctors for cases for childhood leukemia and then childhood illnesses, looking for cures and searching for cures, as well as the money goes to helping the parents. Other organizations where we make sure that they have rides to the hospital, they have housing near the hospital, there's food taken care of. The parents don't have to worry about that financial burden. We take that on as ambassadors and then raise the money we want them just to have that moment and that time with their children, because the time we have here is very limited and very precious. And this was all started, if we want to scroll down, if you would, please. Sure. Right here, let's see. It doesn't have her on here. But Victoria was a young girl, and she was a gymnast. And she was very athletic and just kind of constantly just being an amazing person and part of our future. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us. But during some of her gymnastic sessions, she started getting weak and tired, stuff like that. And they, took her to the hospital and things like that and found out that she had leukemia. And it was absolutely devastating for her parents to go through that. And then so this organization was founded 15 years ago. And we've been doing this. I've been with them for 5. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with Extra Life and the team and all of their staff to fight these battles and help these children and help these parents. And right there's my co-captain, the Restless Squirrel. He's an amazing content creator as well. And right there, you don't have to donate, but if you feel in your heart to make a donation to this cause, it's greatly appreciated. None of the channels receive any of the money. We don't take a cut on any of it whatsoever, as well as when I run my merch session during November 2nd, which is going to be game day, we'll have a 36-hour stream. It will be in 6-hour blocks, so we'll have breaks of 30 to 45 minutes so we can get some rest, switch games, and bring on new guests and stuff like that. I've selected that we're going to be playing Once Human, since it is a free-to-play game, and then we just want the world and the community not only to just get together and just have fun, share your stories.
Sorry, could you just give that page a refresh? Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go, mate.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It's okay.
Man, I told you to give me the link last time. So
speechless because people like you are champion. You're a champion. You're a hero in my eyes, because your contribution from your hard work is going to save a child, multiple children. It's going to go to stopping cancer, knocking it out, leukemia, other diseases, and things like that. It's going to stop that because these children are our future. They are the foundation of, and this is a legacy. If you want to talk about legacy, we talked about that earlier. This is a legacy and something to leave behind. That we made the difference. But, ultimately, it's not taking the credit for it. The people who donate, you're the ones who are making the difference. I'm just here telling you about it and having the opportunity to share it to you. So thank you. And again, if you can't donate, thank you again for the absolutely generous $300 donation. That's absolutely, I'm floored. I'm
as I said,
I'm in a loss for words.
If people can't donate, just literally send it on.
Share it out. Tell the world about this.
The
The more information we get about this. And 2, if you're interested in joining Extra Life, you can create your own team. They don't require any money or any funding. You can, if you're like if you want to show your comic books off, or you're an artist, or you did woodworking or leatherworking like Squirrel does, or gaming, whatever, you want to share your passion and do something good with it at the same time. Make a difference.
Yeah, Extra Life has been around for a very long time.
It has been for a very long time. And we've actually, last time I looked in, 2023? In the 2023 season, we raised $9.7 million in 24 hours on game day.
That's sick.
That is phenomenal.
Do you have any tabletop stuff planned for game day?
I don't, but absolutely. If there's something that you're interested in tabletop, I'll definitely get with you. You can create your own team and do tabletop, or you can join our team and do tabletop. We can do D&D. That's all included. Wizards of the Coast is also a big sponsor of Extra Life. So if you're into Magic the Gathering, or if you're into any of the other things, a Warhammer 40K, or if you're painting miniatures, if you're doing 3D printing of miniatures, sharing things out like that. Henry Cavill has also been part of Extra Life and done some of the tabletop, showing the things that they do, as well as Critical Role has also been part of Extra Life. A lot of people have come forward that are absolutely amazing content creators and just knocked it out of the park. And it's absolutely an honor and awing that to be part of this team, and it's also an honor to share this. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, everyone, so much for giving me the floor and giving me a moment to tell you about this and share this out. It is something deeply in my heart. And also, too, I'm going to show you something extremely personal. My late wife would be absolutely thrilled and honored that y'all are doing this. And that's also the reason I do this, is in her honor and her legacy, because she actually had a degree in early childhood development. And we had an organization called, excuse me. It was called...
Take your time, man. Take your time. Take it easy. It's okay.
But
take a breath.
Yeah. What we did is we tutored and mentored kids grades 1 through 5 when we were working, getting age. And I've actually had the opportunity to see a lot of those kids grow up and go into high school and become our future leaders. And that's what it is being a foundation where some of these kids don't have that foundation and they have that support system. That's what we're here for. To be that, that's what we're put here for. That's our purpose in life, is to raise each other up and support each other the best we can.
Yep.
And going back, it's like, things in the past are horrible and bad, but what we do is we look at that and we move forward and we leave a legacy. And then what happens is my friend, Jeff Wright, he was a child that had leukemia. He is, free of leukemia. He is a grown man. He has 3 wonderful kids, an amazing wife. And he got me into this, and it's insane. It's insane. I'm awed. Thank you all so very much from the bottom of my heart. And then for the legacy and memory of my wife, thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. God bless your wife, mate.
Thank you, Zap, man. That is an amazing thing that you're doing over there, and being a voice for that is truly amazing. Talk about a legacy.
Inspiring.
Thank you, man. That is amazing.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure and it is my honor to do so.
Thank you for actually doing this, man. Also, Crimson Shadow just said that he donated. So
thank you, Crimson. I really appreciate that. And what will happen too for everyone who donated, I've worked on a project that now I have the mobile app, and they've given me the process to where I can send you a video message and thank you. So you will be receiving a thank you message from me. It's a personal message. It's not scripted or anything like that. Each and every one will receive a personal message and a video for your donation.
By the way, Smooth put the site back on and hit F5.
Oh my!
What have you done?
Oh my!
You mother! Are you serious?
Why are y'all doing this? Come on!
You want to break pro Zap by the end of this stream? Jesus Christ! Okay.
Yeah, it's way past my bedtime.
Thank you. Thank you. Look at that. Look at that. We're almost at a milestone, chat. A milestone is right around the corner. So something crazy will happen if we hit the $500 milestone. I'm going to do something absolutely insane that I've never done, but you'll have to wait and see. And
don't shave the beard. Don't shave the beard.
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely. No.
I can assure you, Zap, we will be hitting that milestone as soon as we're off the stream, and I can get to my my credit card. We will be hitting that milestone. Don't you worry.
And something amazing will happen. Also, something else happened. I had the honor of working with Carrie Mills. She's an amazing vocalist and pianist from the UK, and we wrote a song together called "Heart in Shadows" that will also be released. And all of the proceeds from the sales of that song on Spotify and Apple Music will go to Extra Life.
That's fucking
so it's a song that we wrote together. It was a poem that my wife had wrote, and so then we also it was trying to figure out like how can we make the 2024 season just absolutely phenomenal. And so far, you guys, this is going to the stars. It's going beyond my imagination. It's going beyond my comprehension, and I'm just floored. So. Again, you can hear it in my voice, the tears. You can see it in my face. Man. Thank you. Man. I cannot say thank you enough. Know that you're all heroes and champions. And there is a special place in my heart. And there's a special place in the family's heart and the children's heart that you are saving.
So once my credit card is cleared for this month, I will definitely donate some to that charity as well. So yeah, we got someone who has to bounce apparently. So let's go and say goodbye to him. It's Mr. Greg. What you got coming up, sir?
Hello. One of the reasons I got bounced is because I got to get up early tomorrow. I think we're going to be streaming Once Human again on Mr. Porkchop's channel. Played it all day today. Did 6 hours. Well. They did more than I did. Almost 6 hours. But yeah, pretty good game, actually. Pretty good game. There's so much to... Anyway, enough. So yeah, I'm going to go to bed. So it's been great tonight. Been a good chat again. I do look forward to our Wednesday chinwags. I may just sit here quietly and think about smart ass things to say in the background, but occasionally
I don't know what to say either, Greg, so you're fine.
See, this is how my dyslexia is really good. So Crimson Shadow, I just thought he just said Mighty Greg. I was going to it's just Night Greg.
Night Greg, okay.
Not Mighty Greg.
As long as it's not Greg and a nighty, you know.
No, oh god.
That's coming up on that stream ends.
I can do that. Greg, did you send me those photos on Photoshop? I can't remember.
No, you that sends photos.
Wow. No, naughty.
You get through the
Steve,
quiz.
Little shit. Back in your cupboard, Dobby. Right, I will catch anyone who's going to watch the streams tomorrow.
Go and get your bob.
Go
on.
And good night.
We'll go to bed.
Bugger off, mate. I'll see you next week. Anyway, so thank you, Zap, again for this crazy, generous charity that you're running. I might actually do the same around Christmas time. You actually motivated me to do that. Just
ping me on Discord. I will happily, share the details with you and how you can become part of the team or create your own team. And also, the game day is just one day a year, but you can do any of your content any time of the year. Any time of the year. There's no limit to the what you can do and things like that. And they also give you resources and things like that. Also. I forgot to mention my good friend and comedian, director, and actor Justin Long will be sending a message to us on on game night as well. Nice. So huge thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule as well for sending us that message. I can't wait to share that with you as well.
Pretty rad. Right. Okay. Let's go along the horn. So we got Mr. Stasis Queef. He arrived last, but he's certainly not last. So what you got coming up there?
I was going to do something on the Time Bandits, but a video that I did last February, not this February before, stating what they've done diabolical to that show, and the trailer is literally hit in the last 28 hours.
Wow.
100 hours. So in 28 hours, it's 100 hours. So I'm just leaving it. Literally, I was going to do it. I was like, does that detract? So I was like that. But I've got some other things. I'm going to do a couple of trailer things. I kind of want to watch the rest of The Boys to kind of just give my take on that, because that is shocking. There's a couple of things. I might just do reviews. We Nerd Takes, Sandy Q, We've started back after he got married. Come on.
Yeah, right.
So he got like pneumonia, get married. Come on, that's a good little spectrum in the whole month. So like we've got something in the pipeline. So I'm working on the rest of that. I've been a busy bee out of the sphere. I need to get back into it. I'm looking at lingerie models all day is very, very it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work distracting from YouTube. It's like my missus, like she's got to stop doing it. Can you like look at these women in Photoshop them, please? It's just got to stop. It's just got to stop.
Oh, otherwise, and I thought I had it bad with pneumonia.
Thoughts and prayers.
Okay. Cool. So
and hold it. And Sunday, come on, England.
I'll be not rooting for you.
It's coming home.
Right. The English are trying to gain world dominance for once. That's a shocker. Right.
In Germany.
Irony of that one. My God. Right. Okay. Let's go around the horn. We've got Mr. Master Weeb himself, Hanayama. What do you got coming up?
The same fucking shit as usual. Trolling people on Twitter, getting blocked by games journalists for telling them to fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm officially in the club. I got blocked by fucking Alyssa McConaughey because I told her to fuck off, like literally.
Muzzle tough.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, getting blocked by games journalists roasting IGN, like literally just roasting stupid people. The usual. It's the same as always.
By the way, you can expect Tomby's parts by the end of the next week.
Oh, yeah.
Computer parts. So you get your setup done. You've been slacking on that front, so sorry about that. So, Mr. Newlywed, Jay, what do you got coming up?
So first and foremost, thank you for having me again today. It was great talk with everybody. Zap, it was great to meet you and have a chat with you today.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Would love to just give one extra shout out to Zap and what he's doing with Extra Life and what Extra Life does. I think that's a phenomenal cause. If you have it in you or have the ability to, it'd be great to see some donations fly through over there because it seems like such a great cause. And if you don't, like Zap said, just, share it on the internet, Twitter, whatever you use as your main source of social media. This sounds like a really, really awesome cause that I would love to, donate to and just keep an eye on and see all the great work you guys do. So that was a really phenomenal thing to hear about.
Thank you.
And then in terms of my own channel, it's nice to be back in the land of the streaming world, that is, and just YouTube in general, because the past few weeks have been a little rough in terms of the pneumonia, not doing too much on YouTube, and then the wedding was pretty busy. So getting back into the swing of things. I'm currently working on a video going over the Agatha Harkness, or whatever the hell they call it, Agatha All Along nonsense that just came out the other day. So that video should probably be out tonight. I'm almost done with it. So it's either going to be out tonight or tomorrow morning. I've got a Beverly Hills Cop Axel F review coming out as well. Outside of that, just kind of playing it by ear, stream wise and things like that. Just kind of see what happens. I think I might be doing some Grand Theft Auto with Deal Breaker this week, maybe Friday. So that's something to look out for. And other than that, like I said, flexible schedule. A few things coming up with Nerdy Neo, another great guy who, if you guys haven't heard of him, go check out his channel. I did my first stream with him yesterday. We have some plans to do some more stuff. Stasis alluded to something I and Sandy are all working on. So that'll be really fun. So quite a few things kind of coming down the radar here.
Yep. Sounds good. Right.
Can I ask us one very quick question? This is the honeymoon period. So will you be allowed in a 2 weeks time?
So we actually did a little mini moon. That's where I was these past 2 days, and we're not going to do our actual honeymoon till about August.
Not that honeymoon. This is the honeymoon period. Nice period. The period where you have a say. Well, that's
the thing about me.
Because shortly, after the honeymoon period is over, you no longer have a say.
I don't know. Let's checking in about 3 weeks. Stasis. I'll let you know.
You're screwed.
Right. So we got Yanwich as well. So what do you got coming up?
Well, I was going to give a shout out to Extra Life too, but now it's just going to seem like I'm copycatting and being a little.
No, absolutely. You're more than welcome. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. I think that's such a wonderful and amazing thing to do. Definitely going to be donating when I get the chance. And
Potential willy warmers.
No.
I didn't like this. That was Tomby.
And Yarn with too, if you create any of your creations from yarn and things like that, you can always, like the videos, if you make videos of you sitting there, knitting and creating them, and however you do that, that's something that it's an art form. That's also included. It's not limited to anything. We don't limit anything because the cause is open to everyone. We are open to any art.
Leave the willy warmers out.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to see what I can do with that.
Yeah.
So no, I think that's so phenomenal, and support it where we can. Absolutely, let's shut it out as much as we can and get the support, within people's reason.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not sitting here begging for money. Oh yeah, it's not. No. It's if you feel that and you have that excess, please, if you feel it in your heart.
And you definitely, you radiate that generosity and that love and that drive, and it just adds to, it just adds to the cause itself. And so thank you for just being
I believe in it so wholeheartedly. It's my life. I just,
we'll support you. Let's get you guys out there and get to that milestone. We'll definitely make that happen.
We'll make it happen. Easy.
Otherwise, let's see. Pine and Cauldron. Thank you so much for that. That's where I have my hand-dyed yarns. There's going to be some more stuff coming through Pine and Cauldron in the somewhat near future, but otherwise I just have stuff in the works under Yarn Witch, and I'll have a new channel called Yarn Witch Live. It's in development, and we're getting there, and
excited to see that.
Thank you. It's very, very beginning stages, but all the stuff behind the scenes is making good progress.
The one thing I could say to any new content creator, any artist and stuff like that, make the content you love because you love to do it.
Cheers.
It's more rewarding as well if you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be honest.
And don't worry about the subscribers. Don't worry about the views. Those will come in time.
They will.
You will grow, and then you will truly grow the community that's there to support you. The true ones will stick around.
I think it may have been Gary.
If you like it and you enjoy it, that's more than the people. I've spoken to myself for like 0 watchers, and I've done it many a times when I started. You like talking literally like anybody enjoy it, sod it, and I just I love to rant.
Share your passion.
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So just love it. Everybody just love what you do, and that's that is just away from streaming. Just love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy what you do. Do not listen to artards, people that go, my God, you can't do that because thing. The only thing I'm saying, if it's the police might get involved, then don't do it. But right. Enjoy yourself.
No, absolutely. If I had actually followed
and don't
that
put babies in microwaves. Guaranteed. Do not do that. Top tip of the day. Or hamsters. I know I said that.
I think it might have been Gary from Neurotic who I had once heard Nerdrotic, not Neurotic. I always mix that up. Gary from Nerdrotic who had once said that authenticity is the new currency, and I find that to be so true because it's what people are looking for right now. Authenticity is what people want because we're so everybody, myself, I'm sure all you guys and everybody watching, and so many others are just so tired of the corporate, pushed things in terms of takes, opinions, and all that. It's just genuine people is what people want right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think if you're trying to play an act or play a thing, people can really read
absolutely
through that.
They can see right through
they can say no, I don't like it. You might be funny, you might be clever, but I think after a while, your personality just can't stick. You can't be that clever. It's that.
You can only hold that act up for so long until people see who you are.
Yeah, people will see through the facade eventually if you fake it.
And then you'll do things and you'll slip up like some of the biggest names have done lately.
Yeah, like we've seen just recently.
And it's come to fruition. The truth shall set you free.
Yep.
Your lives will be seen.
That it takes a toll on you being a character all the time. I'm sure it does. It's got to take a serious toll on your personal, your mental health, your soul, your general being. It's a lot to try to be a character all the time. So
I would agree with that. I enjoy what I do is because when I'm out in my little studio, I suppose you want to call it, or my little office, is I love what I do when I'm talking to you guys. Sometimes I hate what I'm talking about, like the Acolyte, and I hate it. And there's stuff I love talking about, but it's the chat and the environment. I suppose you want to call it a community, you want to call it whatever, like the fellowship, people do. That's why I love doing it as well. It's because I like doing it, but when I get that engagement, and that could be one person I'm talking to, and I love that I've got that connection. And it's like that. And you're going to get the other way. It's like you're going to get them haters. And I've had it big time on some of the things that I think. But you've just got to also, the newer ones, is you got to have a little bit of thick skin. You do, especially if you're going to go on.
Absolutely.
If you're going to be a reviewer, a bit critical and stuff, you're going to have that hate. And you are. It's just the way of the world. And that's the thing is, but the way the world is for you is, as I said, love what you love. Don't care about that, because at the end of the day, like us guys, I hate to say it, we're all in different rooms all over the world. Yeah. And you can't hurt me. And that's all I have to say is that's it. I have my loving girlfriend and a kid. That's it when we go inside. And that's it. God bless them. That's it.
Yep.
That's
cool.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay. As for me, sorry about that. I didn't mean to step over you guys. But I can
No.
He wants to go to bed.
I have bags under my eyes, folks.
That's it. That's crying because England won.
I'm over it already, so fuck it. But yeah, you know me, I'm Smoothie DJ. You usually find me here on this very channel playing video games during the weekends, or some random streams during the week, whenever the time allows it. Because I'm a full-time nurse, and that job takes a toll on me. So sometimes I don't necessarily have the energy to play when I want to play. What I got coming up is I'm going to be playing some First Descendant with Steel Lake tomorrow around I'm trying to think 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, US time. That's going to be quite fun, I guess. Well, Tommy's still out and about, so if you can, go subscribe to his channel, and also all the other lovely panelists that are here with me today. And also want to give a little shout out to a dear friend of the channel, Know Me Without You. She's at 402 subscribers at the moment. I'm just going to post the link in the chat for you guys. If you can, go give her a follow over there, because I want to make sure that she hits the 500 relatively soon. I'm 9 subs away from 800. So if you can, guys, and haven't subscribed yet, go and give me a follow as well, or a sub. Can't harm to just, check it out every once in a while. So that's Noe's channel right here. She's a very good content creator, and just go support her. Other than that, what I got coming up is Dames and Dorks on Noe's channel tomorrow. Sunday, probably Final Fantasy 14, depending on what time I get back home. Saturday, probably a random PlayStation stream. Not quite sure what I'm going to stream yet, but I'll figure it out. On it's Friday, I'm probably just going to chill for a little bit, because I need to mentally prepare myself for next week when the Streamiversary happens, because I'm going to be having my 1-year Streamiversary.
Oh, nice.
As a gaming stream on YouTube. I mean, granted, the channel has been around a lot longer, so you could technically say, oh, well, it's a 7-year Streamiversary. But yeah, no. It's 1-year gaming streams. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one. That's going to be on July 17th. I've got a stretch goal of $1,000 that I want to reach, and if I crack that $1,000, I'm going to be putting on my actual kilt, including the whole gear. Yes, including the stockings as well. So you can,
if we give you more, do they come off?
Yeah, you have to use his Linktree stuff for that.
I'm ready. I'm ready. PayPal's ready.
You have to subscribe to my Only Smooth for that one. So.
I already have. It's always got nothing on there.
Yeah, don't forget, he's a smooth operator.
It's just a bunch of feet pics.
Well, apart from the foot pics, but yeah. Or a new ball bag. I won't. Don't worry, Crimson. I won't. No backpipes. No.
He's the smooth criminal.
He's a smooth criminal.
Oh wow! Yeah,
scamming people out of that. But yeah, as for this very show, thank you very much indeed for tuning in. This has been the Hump Day Chinwag podcast, episode 11. Next week we will be back on the regular schedule, not half an hour later like today. It was just to accommodate me running late from work to actually get home. So next week it will be on the regular time as of 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come check it out on Tommy's channel as well, I'm going to be co-streaming as per usual. Stasis got the co-streaming rights as well. So yeah, you'll find this very podcast on all sorts of sites. As for the show, thank you very much indeed for watching, guys. Thank you to the lovely panel that's been here. Also, special thanks to Dara for showing up and supporting. And also a special shout out to Abe. I hope you get better soon, buddy. And
yes,
yeah, get your ass out of fucking hospital soon. I'm starting to get worried.
No dying before me. That's illegal, motherfucker.
No dying before Hanayama. No dying before Hanayama.
I do. The cage is missing him. The cage is missing him.
The cage is missing him. Yeah,
it's feeling empty down there.
Yeah, it's a little
starting
empty
to get dusty.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, as for me,
I should have fed him. I know.
How dare you?
I'm going to sign off for the night. Thank you very much indeed, guys, for hanging out with me today, and it is much appreciated. Until next time, you take care of yourselves. Bye for now.
Bye.
Take care.